Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark back with another video, and after a long time away, it is time for Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I am so excited for this, but as you can tell, of course, things have changed since the last time we played Fate. We are here on the Fate Stay Night remastered version, which is nice for a couple reasons. Kind of a personal thing for me, but getting to do this on controller because while it is kind of weird and probably visual, I like playing visual novels with a controller. It's just a little more convenient for just kind of more chill. You know, I don't have to sit up the way I kind of record it. It's just a little easier to use the controller for me. So that's fun. I'm about to woo! What a start. That's absolutely staying in. There's no way I'm cutting that out. But, yeah, so, like, it's nice that I can use the controller. It's also nice, our dimensions are all nice and fancy, and obviously, it's just more convenient, too. This is really no different than me pretty much loading up any other game. There isn't any nonsense going on. But as you'll notice here, as you see here, there's a lot of saves, and because I played Fate before the Fate Stay Night remaster was a thing, I obviously had to go through the Fate route again, which, to be fair, I wanted to look at a lot of stuff anyways, just kind of refresh on certain elements. So what I did was I used my Let's Play as a guide, essentially, and I saved in all the spots that I had, if I'm not mistaken, I saved everywhere I saved in the playthrough, and I also made all the same decisions from the Fate route. I copied everything I did, essentially, so I literally retraced my steps in the remaster. So this is, again, the exact same experience through the Fate route that I had has been recaptured here in the Fate remaster. So if any of this matters for Unlimited Blade Works or Heaven's Feel or what have you, all my decisions are completely the same. Now, I kind of doubt that any of this is going to have anything to do with stuff in other routes, but you never know. And then as you can see up here, we get to this save, which I do know that, so this is the little bit of, like I said, thing is actually understanding how to branch off into Unlimited Blade Works, which I do understand is this moment right here, which I did also prepare, as you could see, a few days ago. I'm recording this on the 30th. As you could see, I went through, I finished kind of my going through of this around midnight on October 26th, so about 2 months ago, I was going through this, going through the Fate route, getting everything the same, and just preparing everything for this Let's Play while also giving a bit of a refresher. Now, I was skipping through a lot of stuff, but I was also watching a lot of stuff. It kind of depended on the specifics of what it was in the scene and all that. But like I said, it was a nice refresher on the, it was one of those things where I feel like when I went into the Fate route, I was like, man, I really need to refresh myself on all this stuff, and as I was going through it, I realized that I really did remember everything, like, way better than expected, which was interesting. So now, we sit here, ready for Unlimited Blade Works, and I'm really excited. Obviously, there's a little bit of mixed messaging here. I feel like we've had teases that imply that Unlimited Blade Works is going to be something related to Archer. I do expect to discover Archer, the deal with Archer and who Archer truly is, and really kind of focus on him and Rin. However, at the beginning of the Fate route, we had the quote, which obviously referred to the Unlimited Blade Works and kind of made me feel like Unlimited Blade Works was something to do with Saber. Obviously, both Saber and Archer have blade-related things going on, so it is interesting, and it certainly could be about either or. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Unlimited Blade Works and what it is. But like I said, I've been trying to work out what the theme is, right? And it seems like, especially when you look at the end game of the Fate route, the Fate route did give us a lot of insight into Saber, right? Archer was kind of, you know, less, his sauce was lessened. Rin obviously was very important, as you can see here, but it certainly, I feel like the idea being that if the Fate route was Saber's route, Unlimited Blade Works is likely Rin's route, which thus means Unlimited Blade Works is likely referring to Archer. I guess that goes back to the question, though, which again is not relevant right now, but if Fate is the Saber route and UBW is the Rin route, who the hell is represented by Heaven's Feel? It's hard for me to really imagine who. Like, obviously there's a lot of, like, stuff with the Matos that has not, like, that we've not gotten into, and, like, it's one of those weird things where it's, like, on one hand, it's, like, I feel like the most logical idea, because, especially to keep with the theme of, like, the girls and, like, again, potentially romantic entanglements and all that nonsense, like, my mind leans towards Sakura, but I guess the thing that makes me think that it's not Sakura is because it just felt like Sakura was so downplayed in the Fate route that it's hard for me to imagine her being the center point of a whole route, right? Because obviously, if the Fate route was Saber's route, and I'm assuming Unlimited Blade Works is Rin's route, the thing about that is, Rin, while maybe she wasn't, like, the focus in the Fate route, but she was still, like, incredibly relevant. So much more relevant than Sakura, to the point where it's hard for me to imagine Sakura having, you know, that amount of time dedicated to her. But I can't really figure, again, I can't really reason who else would be the focus. I considered Ilya, but I don't know, like, we do meet Ilya really early in the Fate route, which does I think lend some credence to Ilya as possibly the focus character. But I have actually thought about this a lot, and I've tried to, like, think of who could be the focus of the Heaven's Feel route, because I'm expecting Unlimited Blade Works to be Rin, and I'm so excited for that, because as you guys know, Rin is my favorite character so far, and it's not incredibly close. I love Archer, as you guys know. He's probably number 2, and I really love Saber as well, and, you know, I love a lot of people in this series, but I definitely, like, I feel like this one's gonna be about Rin and Archer, and I guess if I had to make a guess, Heaven's Feel is gonna be about Shinji, Sakura, and, Ryder. Because, like, I feel like the first route was about, like, Shiro and Saber. And like I said, I think this is going to be about Rin and Archer. But obviously still have a lot to do with Shiro and Saber because we're literally playing as Shiro. So, you know. But you get what I'm saying. So those are kind of my vague predictions. Beyond that, like, obviously we're going to learn about, like, Archer and, like, his whole deal and more sauce with him. Honestly, everything I wanted that I didn't get in the Fate route is pretty much what I'm expecting in Unlimited Blade Works. So it'll be really interesting, assuming I do get all the things I want. It'll be a really interesting experience going into Heaven's Feel. Just, like, ready to get fucked by Nasu because I have no idea what I even want. But I am ready for this journey. I've had a lot of time away from it. I feel like this music is way too loud in my ear for this conversation. Hopefully, in the editing, it's a lot better balanced for you guys than it is for me, but I'm, like, so excited for this. I actually want to check my sound. Yeah, advanced settings, I believe. Yeah. Where is it? No, sound settings. No. God damn it. Sound settings. Wow. I don't know. We might play with that. I feel like I did play with this but maybe I have to actually load the game. But yeah, no, I'm so excited for this. I'm really just excited to play the game. The other thing that I'm gonna mention is somebody did go through the trouble, this was back before the remaster, of basically getting, compiling all the, like, bad ends and, like, just stuff that I didn't get, into a video that I could react to, but honestly, I couldn't find it. I don't know where this person, like, I just literally could not find it. So, I apologize. If they want to send it to me again, be my guest. But, yeah, anyways, let's just jump right in and begin Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. So I actually, first things first, the good thing is I'm actually familiar with the controls, but now I want to go to advanced settings and see if my sound settings are different. No, these are the same sound settings that I just did. We'll have to see. So I have lower BGM while voices play, which I think is like a cool idea. Okay, we'll go back to 20 and see how it goes. And yeah, here we are. Here we are, as you guys can see my flow chart here. It's kind of cool. You can see the flow chart and like the different things that you could potentially get in different spots and all this fun stuff. And there are little notes of like, oh, you made this character happy or you didn't make this character happy. And it's like, these things are kind of interesting. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Oh, the faded dream. Dream of a decade prior. Anyways, so here we go. We don't stop. So by pressing don't stop, apparently this triggers Unlimited Blade Works, and let us begin. I think. Ooh. So this is the same, then. I want to... Okay, I'm going to press skip. Interesting. So this is the same, too. See, I don't know if I should be skipping these repeat scenes or not. I'm actually really curious if you guys want to see them. Especially because I've replayed this recently. Like, especially like the church scene, for example, is like fresh. I just... No, it says we're still on Fate. Did I fuck up? Was I supposed to not stop? Huh. Or was I supposed to stop? Yeah, I think I just did a stupid... Yeah, I think I got confused. I think I literally mixed myself up. That's a great start. That's how you know. That's how you know we're here. Yeah! There we go. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. And... Yeah! There it is! There it is. We've branched. Let's go. Yeah, sorry for that. I am stupid. I was so confused. I was like, I did the branch, and then it just is like, oh, you want to skip this? You want to skip this? I'm like, yeah, this is weird. This doesn't really make that much sense. Actually hilarious, though. I'm not going to lie. Very funny. Dude, this whole thing is so scuffed because now I need to go literally die. All of a sudden, I feel absolutely horrible. I will be back momentarily. Alright, this is the most scuffed start to the point to where I almost want to restart this. But given this is the first episode back, I think you guys deserve to see just how awful of a start this has been. I guess it tells you how I'm a little out of practice. Not saying like, but like, to be fair, it has actually been a little while since I've done a Let's Play video because I haven't done Persona in a little while. I don't know. This is just the most scuffed thing ever, and like I want to restart, but nah, we're just rolling with it. It happens in an instant. The man in the red coat appears right in front of Saber. Saber attacks and he loses his balance. I see her preparing the finishing blow. Behind that, I'm sure I know the person the man in red is protecting. Yeah, of course, that being Rin. I reach toward her with my left hand and cry out. I have no idea who that man in red is. But after defeating him, I'm sure Saber will attack the person behind him without hesitating. So I guess that makes sense, though, because it's like... So now it's like actually doing some act to like protect Rin, and I could see how that... Like I said, again, if this story is going to be like more of an Archer and Rin-focused story, this is a, like... Emiya saving Tosaka is like a... Makes sense as like a catalyst. I can't let that happen. Oh, you know what? See, I did this to check that we were on Unlimited Blade Works. Yeah, bro's about to use a command spell. I can't let Saber hurt her. Yeah. Okay. Like, I didn't think anything of it. Like, I just saw it and, like, didn't actually take the time to process it because, you know, whatever. I don't really want to. But, to be fair, now I know that these could be, like... The flowchart could be minor spoilers there. Oh, man. What a glorious start, by the way. Woo! We are back. This is literally the worst Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Let's Play start of all time. For the 5 people who are left, let's continue. Yep, there it is. A slight but noticeable pain tingles the back of my left hand. One of the marks there fades away. As if in exchange for that, Saber halts her attack, though it shouldn't have been possible for her to do so by that point. Well, because it is a miracle. A minor miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. For an instant, the silver armor comes to a halt, as if it is frozen to stone. Ah, there's my guy! I gotta get used to the controls. No, that's not what I want. No. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's, okay, it's circle. Okay, like I said, I gotta get used to these controls, even though, yeah, okay. Yeah, I gotta remember. Square is essentially, is menu. Triangle is... Oh. It is Saber. You can't blame me. To be fair, if Archer or Rin did the same thing, I'd be right there. But yeah. The man, for an instant, the silver armor comes to a halt, as if it is frozen to stone. The man in red takes advantage of the opening and makes his escape. I'm sure of it. He's the one who was fighting Lancer. I just need to get in a rhythm, you know? I just need to get into a role, and then we could, you know, start rattling off lines and going on long tangents about the story. That means the girl behind him is, yes, Tosaka, of course. I don't really want to believe it, but is it really? Yeah, I mean, that's very fair for her to react like this. Well, what am I supposed to do? I can barely process the situation. To be fair, this all happened so fast. Obviously, if for some reason, obviously the people watching this, I'm sure know what's going on, but this is, of course, the whole, like, Lancer, Saber. This is, ironically, the spot, like, at the end of the prologue, and then you replay it, you know, at the end of the prologue for Rin, and then you replay it as, Shiro. I stopped Saber because I don't want her to kill the girl who saved my life. That's true. Master, Saber readies her weapon again. Before her stands the man in red I prevented her from defeating.
できない。
Interesting.
何を言うのです。彼女はアーチャーのマスターだ。私たちの敵なのですから、ここで仕留めておかなければ。
Because it is interesting, like, how this is a branch point, because obviously, you know, Bros used a command spell, and that's important, but it's also, like, changing the genesis of presumably the, alliance between Tosaka and Emiya, and it'll be interesting to see, like, how that, like I said, how things shift. Because I assume there will be, like, parts of the story that'll be very similar, but obviously a lot of it will be completely different. Enemy. She and the man in red are enemies? Okay, now, hopefully now, Shiro's about to process the idea. Even if he disagrees with the premise, he's gonna process the idea that, yes, we're in the middle of the Holy Grail War, bro.
そんなことは知らない。大体な、マスターなんて言ってるけど、こっちは点でわからないんだ。俺のことをマスターなんて呼ぶんなら、少しは説明するのが筋ってもんだろう。
Yeah, that's the problem though, because we actually need to go to fucking Kirei's place to actually learn about it. Unless again, that's different too. But I'm assuming this will still lead us to Kirei's, probably. But that's the thing, right? Like, he doesn't have any concept of the Holy Grail War, but like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, this shit's crazy. Man, I really am out of practice. Then...
つまりそういうことなわけね。素人のマスターさん。
Best girl. Rin's tone is mockingly polite. I love how they match. I turn around to see the man in red and a girl in a uniform push her way to the front. I take a moment to catch my breath. So I wasn't seeing things. It was Rin Tosaka who was with the man in red.
Tosaka? Rin.
How do I put this? Even I could tell the man behind her isn't human. And yeah, bro, look at his abs. Like Saber, he is not of this world. Then, if Tosaka is bringing him around, she's also...
何？私のこと知ってるんだ。なんだ、なら話は早いわよね。
Yeah, it does.
とりあえず、こんばんは、エミヤくん。
Aw. I don't know what her intentions are. Tosaka greeted me with a bright smile. Bro is so confused right now. This is troubling. Her incredibly casual greeting makes it seem like all this craziness isn't real, and I find myself wanting to return the greeting.
バカかお前。こんばんはってそんな場合じゃないだろう。トサカ、お前は...
Yes, she is a master.
ええ、あなたと同じマスターよ。つまりは魔術師ってことになるわね。お互い似たようなものだし、隠す必要はないでしょ。
Yeah, honestly, at this point, we're kind of past that idea.
魔術師だって。そんな、お前魔術師なのか、トサカ。
She's my mage. And then obviously, yeah, for anyone who is like going, actually like hasn't played the game and is watching this as their first experience of Fate Stay Night, some of the terms will obviously be a little different because this is an official translation which didn't exist prior to 2024, and official English translation as opposed to, you know, fan translation. So obviously, some of the terms are a little different. I'm already used to the terms because, again, I went through the Fate route to, you know, set everything up for where we left off with Fate Stay Night, of course, but I don't know why, but Tosaka, she looks really, really irritated. There's a lot of reasons to be irritated. Most of all, I would say the biggest reason is that you got Saber.
いや違う。言いたいのはそういうことじゃなくて。
But there's a lot of reasons for her to be irritated.
そう、納得いったわ。要するにそういうことなわけね、あなた。
Tosaka glances at us and turns back to the man behind her.
あちゃ、悪いけどしばらくレーターになっててもらえる？ 私ちょっと頭にきたから。
I feel like that's a really weird request. Like, why? Like, I don't know. That's just funny to me. Like, what? Like, yeah, of course you're pissed. Like, you're Tosaka Rin, but like, why does he have to go into his spirit form because you're pissed?
それは構わないが、頭にきたとはどういう意味だ?
Yeah, bro's asking the real questions. Okay, like, it's tricky. Yeah, I think 15 might be the play. And I feel like the voices should be like... Usually I go all the way with the voices. But let's try 1590. Oh, no, didn't want that. Let's try that.
言葉通りよ。腹いせに現状を思い知らせてやらないと気が済まなくなったの。それまであなたの出番はないから消えていて。あなたがいたらセイバーだって剣を収められないでしょ?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I'm going for the 100. I do apologize for being so tinkery, but obviously I swear I did these settings, by the way. I swear I like messed with all this before, but maybe not. Yeah, let's try 100. I think I want to keep BGM at 15, but again, it's all a work in progress here. Like, the voices being loud is nice, I think. Like...
また難儀なこと。ま、命令とあらば従うだけだが、一つ忠告すると、君は余分なことをしようとしているぞ。
I mean, like, I get where it's ironic because I feel like both Archer and Saber are very similar, in the sense that, like, I think they both understand that this is, like, not the way, but obviously, they both do kind of give in. Saber, I think, a little quicker than Archer, which I think is, you know, relevant to their kind of overall kind of vibes. Oh, little effects. The man just disappears like some kind of illusion.
父さんが今の
That's what servants can do.
いいから話は中でしましょう。どうせ何も分かってないんでしょ、エミヤ君は。安心して。嫌だって言っても全部教えてあげるから。
Tosaka is completely nonchalant as she heads for the gate. Fair enough.
待て父さんが何考えてんだお前。
I stop her without thinking, and then Tosaka turns around, but her smile is different from before. This is going to be like a, maybe not sinister, but a serious kind of little smile. Yeah.
いろいろ考えてるわよ。だから話をしようって言ってるんじゃない。
Honestly, that's one of the more base things I've heard in a while. Like, don't assume what the fuck I'm thinking. Like, let's talk about it.
エミヤ君、突然の事態に驚くのもいいけど、素直に認めないと命取りって時もあるのよ。ちなみに、今がその時だって分かって。
Damn. Yeah, Rin's cooking, so let's get to
分
it.
かればよろしい。それじゃあ行こっか、エミヤ君のお家にね。あなたもそれでいいでしょ、セイバー。見逃してもらったお礼に、あなたのマスターにいろいろ教えてあげるんだから。
いいでしょう。何のつもりかは知りませんが、あなたがマスターの助けになる限りは控えます。
That seems fair. So this is, like I said, so it looks like this is generally going to go similarly. I'm assuming Rin's going to explain stuff about the Holy Grail War, and then presumably we're going to go see Kirei. Which, more or less, I mean, if that is where this is going, in that regard, we're kind of on a similar trajectory. And maybe we also get, you know, Berserker and Ilya, and like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the events play out similarly in the early phases. I don't know why. I really have no idea why, but
それにしたってあいつ
she's completely different from when she's at school. Yeah, it do be like that. This night just keeps getting stranger. Oh, this music's giving me a little nostalgia for Fate Stay Night, Fate Route. It was like 20 years ago. I mean, it was literally 20 years ago for the actual game, but I mean, like, my Let's Play damn near feels like it was 20 years ago. In front of me, leading the way, is the school's golden child, Rin Tosaka. Even I admire her. Like, I feel like this line, I literally think this line happens in the Fate Route. Following silently behind me is Saber, the blonde girl who calls herself a servant. The fuck? Oh, the hallway suddenly feels like it's in another dimension. But I can't be a coward forever. I may be an amateur, but I'm still a mage. Tosaka, a mage like me, is perfectly confident, so I can't be any less so, or she'll look down on me. That said, I can only make sense of a handful of things. First, about Saber. She's clearly some kind of familiar since she calls me master, and I made a contract with her. I've heard that a familiar serves as a kind of assistant to mages. This is like a familiar on, like, crack, steroids, heroin. Heroin, to reference the Fate Route, and one of my best titles. Usually, mages transplant a part of their body into something, then has the other self that creates serve them. That sentence put me in a blender. A familiar is simply intended to assist a mage in whatever they do. To minimize the burden that familiar creates, small animals that require minimal magical energy are usually the most suitable for the role. Yeah, just explaining how that works, but that is nothing like how servants work. So I was taught, at any rate, but...
何かあるのですか、シロ。
ああいやなんでもない
I mean, it's a question to ask, but obviously you could ask Rin. Saber looks completely human. More than that, though, she's clearly superior to me, her master, in every way. I don't have enough magical energy to bind a regular person, much less the magic circuits to use a familiar. So Saber must only be something similar to a familiar. There have to be differences, and there are. She called herself a servant. I'm not sure what that is, but I get the sense that guy Lancer and the man in Redwood Tosaka must be the same thing as well, yes. Saber also was calling Tosaka a master. I guess that means mages who have servants are called masters, yes. As much as I want to call Rin mistress, we're stuck with master, but we can make that work. Apparently Tosaka's a mage too, but I have no way of telling her what she really is. No way of telling what she really is. The Emiya family are just outsiders that came to this town in my old man's generation. I mean, perhaps, but Kirisugu clearly was a fucking G. That's why I didn't know Tosaka was a mage, and I'm sure Tosaka didn't know I've been learning magecraft either. There's several mages in this town that I don't know about, and you will meet some. You will meet some interesting mages. Again, I'm sure things will be a little different than last time, and in some ways, and probably a lot different in others. If Lancer and the other mages' servants are familiar, to be fair, they're literally, are familiars. Does that mean I have stumbled into a conflict between mages? You stumbled into the conflict between mages, bro.
へえ、結構広いのね。和風っていうのも新鮮だな。ああ、エミヤくん、そこが今？
Yeah, it is pretty big, but so is your place. I mean, yeah, he has a Japanese-style house, and you have a Western-style house, but both of your houses are pretty fucking big. Tosaka continues talking as she heads into the living room. I need to stop overthinking this. We head into the living room so I can hear what Tosaka has to say. Yeah, let's learn about the Holy Grail War again. I turn on the light. According to the clock, it's already past 1 a.m.
寒っ。何よ、窓ガラス全開してるじゃない。
Well, Lancer did kind of go crazy.
仕方ないだろ。
Yeah.
ランサーってやつに
Yeah.
襲われたんだ。なりふり構ってられなかったんだよ。
Yeah.
ああ、そういうこと。じゃあセイバーを呼び出すまで一人であいつとやり合ってたの？
Fighting would be a little generous, but
やり合ってなんかない。
Yeah.
ただ一方的にやられ
I'm
ただけ
pretty
だ。
sure that feels familiar too. I feel like honestly all of this dialogue might be rehashed from the previous route.
ふーん、変な見え張らないんだ。そっかそっか、ほんと見た目通りなんだ、エミヤくんって。
But the other thing that they might do is they might sneak in new dialogue amidst like explanation like this that you'd get anyways, obviously, because this is like this is exposition that Shiro needs for the sake of the story. So it's not, you can't really like take it out necessarily, but she seems pleased for some reason as she walks over to the broken window. There was no voice in there. Tosaka takes a piece of shattered glass in her hand. She examines it for a bit and...
Minuten Verschweißen.
German. She cuts the tip of her finger and lets a drop of her blood drip onto the shard of glass. Nani? What kind of magecraft is that? The shattered pieces of the window reform into a complete hole right in front of me.
遠坂、今の。
ちょっとしたデモンストレーションよ。助けてもらったお礼にはならないけど、一応筋は通しておかないとね。
You can think of it as a token of goodwill, or...
もう、私がやらなくともそっちで直したんだろうけど、こんなの魔力の無駄遣いでしょ？本当なら窓ガラスなんて取り替えれば済むけど、こんな寒い中で話すのもなんだし。
Yeah, Rin doesn't want to deal with the cold, so she's gonna fix it because it's gonna be a little more efficient that way. Josaka says all this as if it were normal. Needless to say, her skills are beyond my comprehension. True.
いや、すごいぞ遠坂。俺はそんなことできないからな。直してくれて感謝してる。
できないってそんなことないでしょ？ガラスの扱いなんて初歩の初歩だもの。
Yeah, you don't fully understand the situation you're dealing with here.
たった数分前に割れたガラスの修復なんてどこの学派でも入門試験みたいなものでしょ？
All Shiro's had is bootleg training from Daddy.
そうなのか。俺は親父にしか教わったことがないから、そういう基本とか処方とか知らないんだ。
は？
Yeah, and somehow bro rolled Saber. Bro's gotcha game is incredible. Tosaka freezes. Crap, I think I've just said something I shouldn't have.
ちょっと待って。じゃあ何？エミヤ君は自分の工房の管理もできない半人前ってこと？
Definitely.
いや、工房なんて持ってないぞ、俺。
Oh. What the fuck? Game just glitched out for... Game's tripping all of a sudden. Oh, I do have that shed where I train, but if I call that a workshop, I have a feeling I'll probably just make Tosaka mad again.
まさかとは思うけど確認しとく。もしかしてあなた5大要素の扱いとかパスの作り方も知らない？
I nod honestly. Bro is literally like borderline, like it's debatable whether you could like especially like beginning of the story, not that he becomes like an amazing mage or anything, but like beginning of the story, like pre-decision, you know, like, or where we are right now, like Shiro is, I feel like the absolute bare minimum of what you could technically consider a mage. Like it's like you're stretching it. And the ironic thing is, like, most of this fucking, like, Holy Grail War is filled with people that are, like, very few people in this are, like, actually, like, impressive mages. Like, Rin is more the anomaly, if anything. Jeez, I'm scared. It's so intimidating seeing someone this beautiful being this silent. You're not wrong, bro. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but I do have a Fate, I do have a Rin figure. I think I might have shown it. I have no idea, honestly.
何じゃああなた素人？
そんなことないぞ。一応強化の魔術ぐらいは使える。
強化ってまたなんとも半端なのを使うのね。で、それ以外はからっきしってわけ？
Yeah, as it stands now, he's basically useless.
まあ端的に言えば多分。
Her stare was so intense it hurt, so I wanted to be vague.
なんだってこんなやつにセイバーが呼び出されるのよ。まったく。
Well, see. You don't know this, but secretly, bro was up late last night and he was wailing. Like, bro dropped like 2K on his gacha pulls, and that's how he really got Saber. None of this bullshit about fucking whatever the fuck. This is why like I have up to this point I have avoided such nonsense like the plague, and if I ever do actually play any of that crap, I will yeah, no. You just can't put money into this stuff. It's a black hole. As I'm sure many of you know. I mean, I am literally playing Fate right now, so like, stay strong, my ladies and gentlemen who want the pretty things. Don't fall to the siren song of the gacha. Your paycheck will go down the drain. That makes me mad. It's not like I've been playing around. It's relative. But obviously it's been very serious, very intense for you. Sure, I'm inexperienced, but that's another matter entirely.
まあいいわ。もう決まったことに不平をこぼしても始まらない。そんなことより今は借りを返さないと。
It's so funny too, because like, and I'm sure I talked about this in the Fate route, but like, Tosaka is like legitimately so fucking nice. And she like tries, like we talk about like tsundere, right? And like, I feel like with Rin, it's really interesting because she's a weird mix, because I always talk about how like usually a tsundere is either a complete act or they're a or it's like an actual bitch that has a softer side. And I do think there's definitely a lot of like genuinely bitchy traits about Rin, but that doesn't change the fact that she's literally like the sweetest person ever. She's so fucking nice, and she shows it time and time again just in the Fate route. And so I'm really excited, like I said, to hopefully get even more focus on her this time around. And it's just, oh, I love her so much. Like, given how much I fell in love with her the first time, like, I'm a little, like, nervous moving forward, because like, again, if this is gonna be like more her kind of route, oh, this is gonna be so good. Tosaka takes a breath.
それじゃあ話を始めるけど。
Girls, like, I gotta take off my jacket for this.
エミヤ君、自分がどんな立場にあるのか分かってないでしょ。
Let's learn about the Holy Grail War all over again. I nod.
やっぱり。まあ一目で分かったけど、一応確認しとかないとね。知ってる相手に説明するなんて心の贅肉だし。
Yeah, that's fair. Gotta get the verification. That's a weird way of putting it, but I stay quiet if only so she won't punch me. Of all the things that I'd want Tosaka to do to me, punch? Not really.
率直に言うと、エミヤ君は
This
マスター
music.
に選ばれたの。
Oh, I love this theme. Oh, it's so good. Oh, you guys know I'm a simp for anything piano, and like, oh, a deep, like, kind of haunting piano, and then the do. I don't know what this piece is called, but oh, I love this theme.
どっちかの手に精根があるでしょ。手の甲とか腕とか 個人差はあるけど3つの例示が刻まれているはず。それがマスターとしての証よ。
We actually have two, but
手の甲って、あ、これか。
to be fair, your situation isn't much different, Rin.
そう、それはサーバントを律する呪文でもあるから大切にね。霊呪って言うんだけど、それがある限りはサーバントを従えていられるわ。
ある限りってどういうことだよ。
Well, I mean, you can use it up, or it can be
霊
taken
呪
from
は
you.
絶対命令権なの。サーバントの意志をねじ曲げて絶対に言いつけを守らせる呪文がその刻印よ。発動に呪文は必要なくて、あなたが霊呪を使用するって思えば発動するから。
You kind of, like, in a weird way, you kind of, like, subconsciously did it earlier when you used it on Saber.
で、その霊呪がなくなったらエミヤ君は殺されるだろうから、せいぜい注意して。
俺が殺される？
そうよ。マスターが他のマスターを倒すのが聖杯戦争の基本だから。そうして他の6人を倒したマスターには望みを叶える聖杯が与えられるの。
At least in theory, it's clearly a little more... It's a little more monkey's paw. It's a little more ephemeral might not be the right word, but it's a little more wonky than that. I mean, even just from what we got in the Fate route, like, clearly, like, the Holy Grail situation is kind of weird. Hold on. I don't understand what Tosaka's talking about at all. Like, about masters defeating other masters, and in the end, the winner gets the Holy Grail? So by Holy Grail, does she mean the Holy Grail? So, it's kind of ironic, this statement, because the answer is yes and no. In the literal sense, the answer is no, but it's the idea of that it doesn't actually matter, right? Like, because they get into this kind of, like, interesting kind of... It's almost like a philosophical thing with the Holy Grail, where, like, it's not literally the cup that holds the blood of Christ, like, but it is... Its power is real, therefore it is real. It kind of gets into a similar idea, and the servants kind of operate under a similar idea, where it's like, the idea of, like, a servant can exist in myth or legend. Myth and legend are all the same. It all fades into history the same. It's about being remembered, and it's about that memory and belief that others have that give them power, almost, in a sense, right? And, like, the Holy Grail's the same way, where, in a sense, where it's like, it doesn't matter what it really is. All that matters is that it does exist, and it does represent the power to grant a wish, even if that wish is potentially not as perfect as it might seem, as we obviously got into at the end of the Fate route.
まだわからない？要するにね、あなたはあるゲームに巻き込まれたのよ。聖杯戦争っていう7人のマスターの生存競争。他のマスターを一人残らず倒すまで終わらない魔術師同士の殺し合いに。
True. Tosaka says this all plainly as if it were normal. Her words swirl around my head. I've been chosen as a master. Tosaka says she is a master. Familiars called servants, and the battle to the death called the Holy Grail War. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to be told all at once, even after what you experienced earlier in the night.
待て、なんだそれ。いきなり何言ってんだお前。
気持ちはわかるけど、私は事実を口にするだけよ。それに、あなただって心の底では理解しているんじゃない？一度ならず二度までもサーバントに殺されかけて、自分はもう逃げられない立場なんだって。
That is... Okay, that Lancer guy did almost kill me, but...
あ、違うわね。殺されかけたんじゃなくて、殺されたんだっけ。よく生き返ったわね、エミヤ君。
You say that all like smirking, like, oh wow, you know, you managed to come back. How awesome! Like you weren't literally the reason, Rin. You silly little goober. I wasn't almost killed. I really bit it. That is crazy. Like, again, we talk about, like, again, like, from a philosophical standpoint, like, the idea, and, like, obviously that gets into, like, some really interesting stuff where, like, even in, like, real life, there are people that have essentially, like, died and came back, right? Like, kind of on that brink where they are essentially gone, and it's not impossible to get them back there in that moment, but, depending on the circumstances, but you kind of get into that where it's like he legitimately died and Rin was able to save him despite that, and that's like wild to think about in a lot of ways, and you can get into some really interesting, like I said, some really interesting philosophical discussions about mortality and those ideas in general, which is very ironic given that this is a story centered around the Holy Grail War, fighting for something that symbolically represents the Holy Grail. That's right. That guy with the spear killed me. Good old Gabolg. The fact that I'm somehow alive should be even more surprising than this mess I'm in. The wound in my chest, the blood running, the warmth fading, and the pure voice I heard there on the brink of death. God, I love this theme so much.
納得いった？とっくにあなたはそういう立場になってるのよ。何も分かってないからって逃げることなんてできないし、あなたも魔術師なら覚悟ぐらい決まってるでしょ。殺されるのが私たちだってね。
Tosaka's in a good mood. Maybe she likes seeing me so troubled. Sure, I've braced myself, but before that...
遠坂、俺がランサーに殺されたことを知ってるのか？
Oh no. How are you gonna get out of it, girl? How does she know that? Yeah!
少し調子に乗りすぎたか。
This might... Dude, as much as I love her, like, smirks and just being, like, a cocky, smug little bitch, this might be my favorite Rin face, and that's saying something. I mean, obviously nothing beats shooting up heroin, but this is pretty good. She's acting pretty suspiciously now. When is she not? It's Tosaka. I know you don't really know her yet, but still.
つまんないことだから忘れなさい。
つまんないことじゃないぞ。
No, it's literally so big. Like, yeah, I'm with Emmy. Yeah, don't let this go.
俺はあの時誰かに。
Yep, exactly.
いいから、そんなことよりもっと自分の置かれた立場を知りなさいっての。
I love how, like, Rin's being all tsundere now, and, like, and I feel like it's the wrong music just picked up. Like, I feel like that's a moment where it's, like, you get, like, some, like, lighthearted, silly music, and then, like, in the next, like, you know, for, like, a few lines, and then you kind of get back into the discussion about the Holy Grail War properly. I know she's trying to pivot to the Holy Grail War, but it feels like that music... This, like, ominous, just beautiful, like, piano work and just this, like I said, this excellent piece. I feel like it kicks in a little too soon here. Because I feel like she's literally trying to, like, redirect back to the conversation to get out of this. And she's just being adorable. And, like, I don't know. I feel like the ominous music kicks in a little too quickly there.
あなたも7人のマスターの一人。聖杯戦争の主役なんだから。
Yeah, and the master that's arguably won the gacha battle.
いい？この町では何十年かに一度7人のマスターが選ばれて、それぞれサーバントが与えられるの。
It is really funny though, because like despite the fact that, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is, if not identical, very similar to stuff that we got in the Fate route. It's still like, I don't know. Like I think I'm just so glad to be back that like I don't even care really. Like it's just it's entertaining nonetheless.
他のマスターを潰していく。
But I do apologize that this episode is probably going to mostly be stuff you guys have already seen. But I do want to do it properly. I don't want to skip through, or I don't want to, like, edit this stuff out or whatever. And again, I don't know if they're sneaking anything in that like, I'm not like a fucking psycho when it comes to this stuff.
これが聖杯戦争と呼ばれる儀式のルールよ。
But this feels the same, though, for sure.
私もマスターに選ばれた一人。だからサーバントと契約したし、あなただってセイバーと契約した。イミヤ君は自分でセイバーを呼び出したわけじゃなさそうだけど、もともとサーバントってのは聖杯が与えてくれる使い魔だからね。イミヤ君みたいに何も知らない魔術師がマスターになることだってあり得るわ。
Yeah, you're basically chosen by the Grail. Tosaka's explanation is too specific. It doesn't feel real at all. Well, that's the thing. The fact that she has these type of see, I get what he's saying. Like, it's like she knows everything about it, and it's like that's kind of wild because obviously she, unlike you, was very prepared despite her little goof that it landed her archer, even though I wouldn't necessarily say that was necessarily the worst result in the world, but we'll see how it goes, at least in this route. But it is interesting because I kind of look at it as the specifics kind of add to it, where it's like, okay, if there's a specific set of boundaries, a specific set of rules, that go into this whole deal with the Holy Grail War, that makes it feel more like a real thing. Yeah, I completely disagree with Hemiya here. There is one thing that I've been wondering about, though.
ちょっと待ってくれ。遠坂はセイバーを使い魔だって言うけど、俺にはそうは思えない。
I mean, yeah, that's observant of you, and she'll obviously explain the servant deal. But I think it's interesting that, like, that's the thing. It's like, it's simple. It's the simplest way to explain it. But obviously, this doesn't follow, like, the traditional rules of familiars, even though, in theory, in essence, a servant is a familiar.
だって、使い魔っていうのは猫とか鳥だろ？そりゃ、人の幽霊を扱うやつもいるっていうけど、セイバーはちゃんと体がある。それに、とても使い魔なんかに見えない。
I glance at Saber. There she is. Saber is quietly listening to my conversation with Tosaka, and the fact that, like, Saber hasn't butted in, I think also is kind of telling that, like, she recognizes that Tosaka is giving really good information to Shiro and is just letting it play out. She looks just like a human being. She is and she isn't. I don't know her identity, but she looks like a girl about my age. Oh, trust me, you'll learn her identity. Well, I guess that's not a guarantee, actually. As much as I would think that he's gonna learn her identity in all three routes, I guess not necessarily. Because obviously we learned her identity in the route that, like, led kind of to all of her stuff. I guess it's not a guarantee that we actually ever learn her identity again, because the idea is, obviously, is that over the course of the three routes, the player is going to get all the information. And we got that information in Fate, which means that we don't necessarily need to get that information in UBW or Heavensfield, to be honest.
使い魔ね。まあサーバントはその分類ではあるけど、位置づけは段違いよ。何しろそこにいる彼女はね、使い魔としては最強とされるゴーストライナーなんだから。
Ghost liner is a pretty cool term.
ゴーストライナー。じゃあやっぱり幽霊ってことか？
That's closer.
幽霊。似たようなものだけど、そんなもんと一緒にしたらセイバーに殺されるわよ。
Yeah, they're like representations of the individual, like, before they died. So it's more akin, again, this is, stuff that, get into the whole deal with the Fate route, but it's more akin to, like, it is, in essence, almost literally the actual individual, but, like, yeah, it's weird. It's really weird to, like, the concept is, like, I feel like it's one of those things, and I feel like this applies so far from what I've seen with a lot of Nazu stuff, where, like, Nazu likes to do surface level things that like surface level are pretty easy to understand, but are like super complex and like nuanced, and I would say in some cases even arguably like stupid in regards to just how like complicated it is. Not that I mind necessarily, but like to be fair, there is some stuff that we've seen in Fate already that is like maybe a little much. And I know people really appreciate that. I mean, just look at like Hunter x Hunter fans, but yeah, it is interesting, right? Like again, I think it's what's cool about it, and this is the thing I really like about it, is I feel like surface level you can generally get the gist of these concepts, so that if you're not diving deep into the lore or the ideas, the concepts that are given, if you're not that interested and you watch like the anime, for example, where I'm sure it's a little more abridged, so to speak, you could still like really enjoy the concepts and ideas, but like the actual depth of the concepts is like where I really appreciate it, because I'm a psycho who doesn't mind reading long-ass visual novels and doing Let's Plays of them, because, again, I'm a sicko, but I feel like for a lot of people, it's a bit much, but obviously not for everyone, because this game does have a very strong fandom, and obviously was the genesis for one of the biggest Japanese series of all time, really, if we're being honest.
サーバントは受肉した過去の英雄、精霊に近い人間以上の存在なんだから。
はあ？受肉した過去の英雄。
Yep.
そうよ。
That's the simple way to
過去
put
だろう
it.
が現代だろうが、とにかく死亡した伝説上の英雄をこう引っ張ってきてね、実体化させるのよ。まあ、呼び出すまでがマスターの役割で、後の実体化は聖杯がしてくれるんだけどね。魂を形にするなんてのは一階の魔術師には不可能だもの。
Yeah, I
こ
mean,
こは強力なアーティファクトの力におんぶしてもらうってわけ。
we're basically the conduit. The Holy Grail the Holy Grail provides all the power, and in a way, it almost like flows through us, right? Like, it's the power. The Holy Grail is the power source. We are the summoners, but we don't have the power to do so, and that's where the Holy Grail provides its miracle. One of its miracles, at least.
ちょっと待て。過去の英雄って。
It means exactly what she said. Shiro's VA is really good, too. So I look at Saber, so she was a hero, too? Yeah, one of the more famous ones ever. Well, it is true that there's no one dressed like that in the modern world, but still.
そんなの不可能だ。そんな魔術聞いたことがない。
No, we're beyond magecraft when you're talking Holy Grail stuff.
当然よ。これは魔術じゃないもの。あくまで聖杯による現象と考えなさい。そうでなければ、魂を再現して固定化するなんてできるはずがない。
魂の再現って。じゃあそのサーバントは幽霊とは違うのか。
Like I said, ghost, familiar, like all these things are in the right ballpark, but none of them fully grasp the gravity of what a servant is.
違うわ。人間であれ動物であれ機械であれ、偉大な功績を残すと輪廻の枠から外されて一段階上に昇華するって話聞いたことない？
That's such a crazy concept.
英霊っていうのはそういう連中よ。要するに崇め立て祀られて疑似的な神様になった者たちなんでしょうね。高霊術とか口寄せとかそういう一般的な霊を扱う魔術は彼らの力の一部を借り受けて奇跡を起こすでしょ。けどこのサーバントっていうのは英霊本体を直接連れてきて使い魔にする。
Yeah, that kind of gets back to what I was saying. Like it's not necessarily like the spirit. It is more so like literally the individual. It's something more akin to literally pulling them out of time.
だから基本的には霊体としてそばにいるけど、必要とあれば実体化させて戦わせられるってわけ。
Well, that's not exactly what the situation is with Saber and Shiro, but that's another story.
その霊体と実体を使い分けられるってことか。さっき遠坂についてたやつが消えたのは霊体になったから？
そう。今はここの家の屋根で外を見張ってるわ。
Nice.
さっきの戦いで分かったと思うけど、サーバントを倒せるのは同じ霊体であるサーバントだけなの。そりゃ相手が実体化していればこっちの攻撃も当たるから、うまくすれば倒せるかもしれない。
It is nice that we're in the flow, because this episode started off so bad.
けどサーバントはみんな怪物じみてるでしょ。だから怪物の相手は怪物に任せて、マスターは後方支援をするっていうのがセオリーね。
But it's nice because I can really tell that I'm like in the proper flow of doing like doing Fate again now. It just took a little while. Shaky start, but we're in it now. Tosaka's explanation offends me for some reason. Trust me, we know. We're very well familiar with the way you think, Emiya. I don't know about other servants, but I don't want her calling Saber a monster.
とにかくマスターになった人間は召喚したサーバントを使って他のマスターを倒さなければならない。そのあたりは理解できた？
言葉の上でなら。けど納得なんて言ってないぞ。
That mean it's Kotomine time?
そもそもそんな悪趣味なことを誰が何のために始めたんだ？
それは私が知るべきことでもないし、答えてあげることでもない。
Yep.
そのあたりはいずれちゃんと聖杯戦争を監督しているやつに聞きなさい。
So we are gonna go see Kotomine, so this is all pretty much the same.
私が教えてあげられるのはね、あなたはもう戦うしかなくて、サーバントは強力な使い魔だからうまく使えってことだけよ。
Chisaka says this as she turns to look at Saber.
さて、エミヤ君から話を聞いた限りじゃ、あなたは不完全な状態みたいね、セイバー。マスターとしての心得がない、魔術師見習いに呼び出されたんだから。
Time for bisexual Rin to come out and simp on Saber like only she can.
ええ、あなたの言う通り、私は万全ではありません。シローには私を実体化させる魔力がないため、霊体に戻ることも魔力の回復も難しいでしょう。
驚いたわ。そこまでひどかったこともだけど、あなたが正直に話してくれるなんて思わなかった。どうやって弱みを聞き出そうかなって程度だったのに。
敵に弱点を見抜かれるのは不本意ですが、あなたの目は欺けそうにない。こちらの手札を隠しても意味はないでしょう。
Oh man, dude, Saber just putting on the casual, like, serious fucking kingly Riz over here is about to fucking melt Rin.
それならばあなたに知ってもらうことで、シローにより深く現状を理解してもらった方がいい。
正解。風格も十分と。もうますます惜しい。私がセイバーのマスターだったらこんな戦い勝ったも同然だったのに。
Facts. Who knows? In this version, she might win. Like again, I'm like pretty sure this is gonna be the Tosaka route, the fucking Archer and Rin route. Otherwise, my Unlimited Blade Works thumbnails are gonna be really fucking stupid because it's a Rin and Archer thumbnail, as you guys will have seen. It's really cool, actually. Tosaka clenches her fist in frustration.
遠坂、それ俺がふさわしくないってことか？
当然でしょ、ヘッポコ。
Wow. That's great. Me and Shiro synced up there. Wow, said the quiet part out loud without hesitation, heartless. And that's why you see it's a cycle, okay? Rin simp Saber, I simp Rin. And, yeah, I don't think Saber's simping me. I hate that, like... Oh.
何？まだなんか質問があるの？
She doesn't even realize it either. The model student impression that I had of her from school is crumbling apart. Bro's like, no! She is nothing like I imagined. She's better. Issei really knows what's up. Tosaka really is a demon underneath it all. What the fuck?
さて、話がまとまったところでそろそろ行きましょうか。
And Tosaka suddenly says something that doesn't make sense. Yeah, we're going to the church.
行くってどこへ？
だから、あなたが巻き込まれたこのゲーム、聖杯戦争をよく知っているやつに会いに行くの。エミヤ君、聖杯戦争の理由について知りたいんでしょ？
I will say that, like, one of the things I'm more interested to see now that we're going into the second route is what they do with Kirei. Like, what they do with Kotomine, what do they do with Gilgamesh, like, all of the, like, more endgame stuff. I'm, like, so curious about, like, how, like, that stuff's gonna play out, because obviously the ending is gonna look completely different, and that, there's a good chance that means that, like, the end game of the arc is going to, of the route, is going to potentially not even involve them. I'm, like, so curious, like, there's so many characters I'm so curious about how they handle in Unlimited Blade Works, but like I definitely think like Kirei and Gilgamesh are near the top of the list.
それは当然だ。けど、それってどこだよ？もうこんな時間なんだし、あんまり遠いのは。
Yeah, you got Archer and Saber. I mean, that's a pretty potent combination. And Rin's not bad
隣
herself.
町だから急げば夜明けまでには帰ってこれるわ。それに明日は日曜なんだから別に夜更かししてもいいじゃない。
Yeah, this might end up being a shorter episode because I am gonna eat dinner, and whenever in like an hour, maybe a little more, is probably when I'm gonna eat dinner. And
いや、そういう問題じゃなくて。
like I said, I think whenever I break to eat dinner is probably when I'm just gonna stop. I'm probably gonna record the next episode later tonight, actually, but because I wanna really like grind this game. I wanna get through this route, and like in a perfect world I want to get through this route in a month, but I know that's probably a little ambitious. But yeah, because I'm only starting it a couple days before you see this episode, but I'm hoping that even by then that I'm hopefully like a couple episodes deep or whatever. But yeah, I'm expecting this episode to be on the shorter side, and obviously I kind of feel bad about it, because like I said, this is pretty much like... we're basically doing things that have already happened. I'm just tired from everything that happened today, so I want to rest and organize my thoughts. No, we got to see Mr. I'm so tall I don't fit on the screen.
何？行かないの？もうエミヤ君がそう言うんならいいけど、セイバーは？
No, the best part about the Fate Stay Night remaster, as you guys will see, is Bro still doesn't fit on the screen. He didn't fit on the screen in the original game either. It's so funny. Bro's so tall. Tosaka asked Saber her opinion for some reason.
ちょっと待て、セイバーは関係ないだろう。あんまり無理強いするな。
もうマスターとしての自覚はあるんだ。私がセイバーと話すのは嫌？
Oh God, I love Rin so much. She's like simultaneously like impressed and mocking us.
そんなことあるか。ただ、遠坂の言うのが本当なら、セイバーは昔の英雄なんだろ？なら、こんな現代に呼び出されて、右も左もわからないはずだ。だから。
No, she's actually good, as she's.
シロ、それは違う。サーバントは人間の世であるのなら、あらゆる時代に適応します。
Yeah, ironically
ですから
enough.
この時代のこともよく知っている。
This is not her first rodeo in modern times.
知ってるって、本当に？
もちろん。この時代に呼び出されたのも一度ではありませんから。
Yep.
嘘。どんな確率よそれ。
I would imagine astronomically low. But, you know.
シロ、私は彼女に賛成です。あなたはマスターとして知識がなさすぎる。あなたと契約したサーバントとして、シロには強くなってもらわなければ困ります。
So I do apologize. I just stopped reading for a few moments there. So if you guys want to see the yeah, so like, oh, Tosaka is surprised too, so what Saber is saying must be truly incredible. Yeah. Saber looks at me silently. Like, that's the weird thing is, like, while I was, like, skipping through a lot of stuff, I do have to get out, and I've done a good job of not doing that in this playthrough, but obviously when I went through the Fate route, there was a lot of stuff that I did read through and watch again and all that shit, and because of that, I got used to not reading, because obviously I was just chilling and, like, you know, prepping for the return of Fate, so I would just, you know, read the line silently. So to some extent, there is a little bit of, it's like, it's almost ingrained in me now, where it's like, okay, I gotta fucking get off this shit. I gotta remember to read my fucking lines. Saber looks at me silently. Her gaze was gentle, as if to say that she was worried not for herself, but for me.
わかった。行けばいいんだろ、行けば。で、それってどこなんだ、トサカ。ちゃんと帰ってこれる場所なんだろうな。
もちろん。行き先は隣町の琴峰教会。そこがこの戦いを監督してるエセ神父の居所よ。
I love how she just, like, fucking outs him, like, fake priest. Like, the first thing she says about Kirei is fucking fake-ass priest. Tosaka makes a devious smile. It looks like she's having fun having me wrapped around her finger. It should have been me! Call me crazy, but I feel like something is wrong with her personality. When you say stuff like this, Emiya, it makes me want to see Saber go all Excalibur on your ass. We make our way through town at night. It's past 1 a.m. in the morning and there is absolutely nobody out. The lights from the houses are off, leaving only the street lights to illuminate the quiet town. Yes, it is pretty dark.
まあ、トサカ。スカのことを聞くけど、歩いて隣町まで行く気なのか？
そうよ。だって電車もバスも終わってるでしょ。いいんじゃない？たまには夜の散歩っていうのも。
そうか。一応聞くけど、隣町までどのくらいかかるか知ってるか？
歩いてだと1時間ぐらいかしらね。まあ、遅くなったら帰りはタクシーでも拾えばいいでしょ。
Yeah, she does have money, so.
そんな余分な金は使わないし、俺が言いたいのは、女の子が夜出歩くのはどうかってことだ。最近物騒なのは知ってるだろ？もしものことがあったら責任持てないぞ、俺。
Yeah, you forget that girl has Archer, and you also underestimate her to some extent, which, again, most Shiro thing of all time, so, you know, that tracks.
安心しなさい。相手がどんなやつだろうとちょっかいなんて出してこないわ。エミヤ君は忘れてるみたいだけど、そこにいるセイバーはとんでもなくお強いんだから。
Yeah, there's that too. That's right. Even if someone at random attacked us, they wouldn't know what hit them in return. No.
リン、シロは今何を言いたかったのでしょう。私には理解できなかったのですが。
Dude, the stupid yellow fucking jacket. She, like, this is I think the only time in the whole story she wears it is when we go to the church. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't go in. I'm pretty sure it's just Tosaka and Shiro that go in. Because we have the decision, and obviously one of them does not end well. And that was one of the decisions that I actually did in my playthrough. But yeah. It's just weird looking yellow ass.
ほんま抜けっていうか。なんでも私たちが痴漢に襲われたらエミヤ君が助けてくれるんだって。
The irony of this is, like, from my understanding, Saber, I mean, to be fair, both of these girls, from my understanding, are, like, legendary in fucking, like, otaku, like, culture. So, like, that does make this comment extra ironic.
そんなシロは私のマスターだ。それでは立場が逆ではないですか。
Hey, to be fair, I already have a Rin figure, and I definitely want to get a Saber figure one day.
そういうの考えてないんじゃない？魔術師とかサーバントとかどうでもいいって感じ。あいつの頭の中一度見てみたくなったわね。
It's gonna be interesting, though, because this was, like, this whole, like, thought process with Emiya and, like, how Shiro and Saber interacted because of the ways that the two of them thought, the ways in which they were similar and the ways in which they were different, was such a emphasized part of the narrative of Fate that I'm, like, very curious to see, like, how things like this play into Unlimited Blade Works, because, again, I'm expecting the story to take a significant turn, you know, left turn or right turn, completely off the beaten path compared to what we did in Fate in UBW. So it's going to be interesting to see how, like, these dynamics change. Like, I was talking about how, like, Gilgamesh and Kirei and, like, how are they going to play into everything in this route. Another thing I'm really interested to see is how, like, Saber and Shiro's relationship evolves and changes compared to Fate, and how that affects things, because obviously I feel like their relationship went to its logical conclusion in the Fate route, which I don't necessarily know whether or not that will be the case in the other routes, because that felt like the Shiro and Saber ending, right? So I'm interested to see how their relationship dynamic evolves in this route, when presumably Saber is going to be less of a focus compared to the Fate route. Again, I don't know for sure, but like I said, I'm like 70, 80. I feel like I'm like 85, honestly. I think I can go to 85, that this is going to be about Archer and Rin, primarily, this route. It's Heaven's Feel, where I don't have a fucking clue. Tosaka and Saber seem to now know each other well enough to talk to one another. Honestly, the main thing that throws me off is, again, the Unlimited Blade Works comment at the beginning of the Fate route. But the thing is that, again, Unlimited Blade Works has to be referring to Archer, based on what we have seen of Archer. Saber has been quiet ever since I stopped her from going out dressed as is. She became even more silent ever since I made her wear a raincoat, since she refused to take off her armor. It's so funny. I forgot that was on Shiro's orders, though. Now she's following behind me and only talking with Tosaka. Oh, man, dude. The AU where Tosaka rolls Saber is, like, actually peak. Like, don't get me wrong, I ship Rin and Archer, but I feel like this is truly the goated relationship that never was.
あれ？どっちに行くのよ、エミヤくん。そっち道が違うんじゃない？
Not, to be fair, Archer and Rin deserve each other, but, you know.
橋に出ればいいんだろ。ならこっちのが近道だ。
It feels awkward walking all bunched up together, so I quickly made my way to the side street ahead. They're both following me without complaint. We come out to a park by the riverside. We have to cross that bridge to go to the neighboring town Shinto, but...
へえ、こんな道あったんだ。そっか。橋には公園からでも行けるんだから、公園を目指せばいいのね。
are we going through the death park, or? Osaka's voice is full of energy as she looks up at the bridge. Maybe it's just because we're at a park at night. Tosaka's profile as she peers up at the bridge looks even more beautiful than when I see her at school. I've sure got it bad. I think this is new. I could be wrong, I don't remember this. And that would make sense if this is the Rin route. Bro simping for Rin is, like, elevated.
いいから行くぞ。別に遊びに来たわけじゃないんだから。
I might be completely wrong. This might also be in Fate, but I don't remember this part. I hurry her along and lead her to the stairs. I feel like we got to Kirei's like pretty quickly in the Fate route. If we take the walkway next to the bridge, then we can get straight to Shinto. Right as I say that, we're probably... Oh, okay. Nobody's on the bridge. It's not particularly busy even during the day, though, so it's to be expected. People usually commute by bus or train, so foot traffic is pretty rare. It's long enough and seems unsupported such that there's probably a fear of collapse that plays into that. I'd guess that's why nobody uses it, even on dates, despite being the perfect view. That vaguely sounds familiar.
バカらしい。何考えてんだ俺。
It is interesting that you're thinking about dates, though. I mean, to be fair, you are surrounded by two gorgeous women, but... Well, yeah, but that, you know. Tosaka keeps next to me while Saber follows behind us silently. I try to ignore them as I hurry across the bridge. After crossing the bridge, Tosaka guides us into the suburbs. When I think of Shinto, what comes to mind is the always under construction office buildings, but beyond the station, the streets of yesteryear remain. Within that, the suburbs are the oldest of them all. There are gradual slopes and a view of overlooking the ocean. As we go farther up the hill, there are fewer and fewer buildings, and the foreigner cemetery built on the slope comes into view.
この上が教会よ。エミヤ君も一度ぐらいは行ったことがあるんじゃない？
To this part, I vaguely do remember. I remember the hill and going up the hill to this rings a bell. That one little thing about him having it being down bad for Rin did not. So I feel like that might have been a UBW original moment there.
いや、ない。あそこが孤児院だったってことぐらいは知ってるけど。
Funny that.
そう。なら今日が初めてか。じゃあ少し気を引き締めた方がいいわ。あそこの神父は一筋縄じゃいかないから。
That's one way to put it. He does try to kill us in one timeline. Tosaka starts up the hill. I look up and see what looks like a cross cresting the hill. A church atop a hill. I never thought I would end up visiting God's house for the first time over something like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a line, because that feels like a line from the Fate route. There it is.
すごいな、これ。
No, for sure. It's a very pretty church house. The church is rather impressive. The grounds seem to cover most of the hilltop, as I am welcomed by a flat and open space. The church itself is not particularly big, but it is overpowering in the way it seems to tower over visitors.
シロ、私はここに残ります。
Sounds good.
なんでだよ。ここまで来たのに、セイバーだけ置いてけぼりなんてできないだろう。
So I was right. It's just Rin and Shiro that go inside.
私は教会に来たのではなく、シロを守るためについてきたのです。シロの目的地が教会であるのなら、これ以上遠くには行かないでしょう。ですから、ここで帰りを待つことにします。
Saber says clearly. It doesn't seem like she's going to budge on this, so I'll just have to respect her decision.
わかった。それじゃあ行ってくる。
Relatively speaking, we're gonna probably talk to Kirei for a little while.
はい。誰であろうと気を許さないように、マスター。
Yeah, it's literally like chaos incarnate is basically what Kirei is. So yeah, you should be on guard. Simultaneously church music and doom music, which both fit Kirei. It is a spacious, solemn chapel. With this many seats, there must be quite a few attendees during service. The priest must be distinguished to be entrusted with a church like this.
トサカ、ここの神父さんっていうのはどんな人なんだ？
He's really tall, like so tall he doesn't fit on the screen.
どんな人かって説明するのは難しいわね。10年来の知人だけど、私だって未だにあいつの性格はつかめないもの。
Yeah, he like literally like pretty much tries to kill you in Fate.
10年来の知人？ それはまた随分と年季が入った関係だな。
which
も
makes
しかして親戚か何かか。
which makes what Rin's about to say even more depressing.
親戚じゃないけど私の後見人よ。ついでに言うと兄弟子にして第二の師っていうところ。
Yep.
兄弟子って魔術師としての兄弟子？
そうだけどなんで驚くのよそこで。
だって神父さんなんだろ？神父さんが魔術なんてそんなのご法度じゃないか。
To use a joke from a show I've reacted to, we can call him a corrupt priest. Mages in the church should be mutually exclusive. The large organization that mages belong to is called the Mages Association. Okay, here we go with this explanation. And behind the world's largest religion, the side of Christianity that you wouldn't see if you're living a normal life, is an organization that is ostensibly called the Holy Church. These two seem similar yet different. They cooperate together on the surface, but they have a dangerous relationship where they're always trying to kill each other when given the chance. The church hates heretics. They eliminate the inhuman, which includes those who use magecraft. For the church, miracles are only granted to and utilized by saints. Any others who perform miracles are all heretics. There are no exceptions, whether they belong to the church or not. Also, the higher the position, the more forbidden it is to use the impurity of magecraft. It makes sense when you think about it. It goes without saying that for a true believer, the stronger the divine protection, the farther one stays away from magecraft, but...
いや、そもそもここの神父さんってこっち側の人だったのか。
I feel like this bleeds a bit into, like, universal lore, like, lore about the greater universe that Fate resides in, which is kind of interesting because this doesn't really, at least in the Fate route, but I honestly don't think it's gonna really, like, I feel like the Holy Church is not gonna be, like, really relevant much at all in this whole story. But it's cool lore that's kind of there in the background, which I don't mind at all.
ええ、聖杯戦争の監督役として派遣されたやつだもの。バリッバリの代行者よ。まあ、最も神のご加護があるかどうかは疑問だけど。
Yeah, he's more a priest in name alone, to be honest. Despite what he might say. Tosaka walks towards the altar. It's bad manners to do that without the priest present, but it's so late at night. I can't imagine he'd be in the chapel. If he's anywhere, it'd be somewhere in the back.
んで、その神父さんはなんて言うんだ？さっきは琴峰とかなんとか言ってたけど。
That is indeed his name. I ask, following after her. She comes to stand before the altar and turns to me with a conflicted expression.
名前は琴峰綺麗。父さんの教え子でね。もう10年以上顔を合わせてる腐れ縁よ。まあ、できれば知り合いたくなかったけど。
Well, I mean, there's a few layers to that. I mean, there's obviously, you know, if her dad was still alive, there's a decent chance, or certainly a higher chance that she'd have never met him. So there's that layer to it, but there's also Kirei is Kirei, so, like, you know, and Rin, despite maybe not perceiving Kirei for what he really is, Rin is perceptive enough to understand that Kirei is a weird individual, and that it's, yeah, you know.
同感だ。私も死を敬わぬ弟子など持ちたくはなかった。
Bro, he just flies in. Dude, that's so good. He just comes in with that fucking goated voice. Speaking of just, oh god, the fucking seiyus are so good in Fate, but like, bro, he just comes in with that deep ass, just like, voice, and oh, he's so good. I hear footsteps. He appears from somewhere behind the altar, slowly making his way over. He must have heard us come in. Bro is literally so tall I can't see the top of his head. Oh damn, he actually is fitting in the screen.
変わった客を連れてきたな。ふん。彼が7人目というわけか、リン。
Now I'm going crazy. Does he actually fit in the screen, like just in general in the other game? Or is he far enough away that he fits in the screen? I swear to fuck, he doesn't always fit in the screen. Am I literally going crazy? Have I like gaslit myself? There we go! There it is!
一応魔術師だけど、
Like, what the
中身は
fuck?
点で素人だから見てられなくって。
He's so fucking tall. Okay, bro, he showed up and I saw his whole thing and I was like, wait a minute. Am I crazy? And then literally the next moment, bro is... the top of his head is cut off because he's so fucking tall.
確かマスターになったものはここに届けを出すのが決まりだったわよね。あんたたちが勝手に決めたルールだけど、今回は守ってあげる。
Sure. Fair enough. But I love, that's how you know that the remaster is still truly Fate Stay Night, because Kirei doesn't fit in the screen. If Kirei fit on the screen, if they actually did that tiny bit of work to make him fit on the screen, this would not be Fate Stay Night anymore. And I would be like, you know, I'd be out. The Let's Play would be over if Kirei can fit on the screen. But because he can't, we're still all good.
それは結構。なるほど。ではその少年には感謝しなくてはな。
Yeah, we're pretty much all set now. Yeah, that's the, I feel like that's, kind of the pose I think of when I think of Kirei, because it's a very neutral pose. But man, dude, bro is just a long boy. The priest called Kotomine slowly turns to me. Without realizing, I take a step back. Yeah, your instincts serve you well, Emiya. There's no reason for me to be scared. It's not like I feel any hostility from this man either. Yet, he still had this intimidating presence that makes it feel like lead weights were just heaved onto my shoulders. What's a combination of the fact that he's got like a fucking Dio-ass voice, he's fucking like 80 feet tall, and this fucking crazy fucking organ is playing in the background.
私はこの教会を任されている琴峰きれいというものだが、君の名は何というのかな。7人目のマスターよ。
Might be a familiar name.
エミヤシロ。けど、俺はまだマスターなんてものになった覚えはないからな。
I glare at the priest, trying to match his intensity.
エミヤ、シロ。
Oh God, why is this Zayu so good? Dude, he's so good. Oh. Yep. Bro's feeling the intensity. The command spell is throbbing. The weight I'm feeling changes to a chill. The priest smiles silently as if he's come across something pleasant. That's one way to frame it. That smile. I can't think of anything that would compare. Fair.
礼を言うエミヤ。よくリンを連れてきてくれた。君がいなければあれは最後までここには訪れなかったろう。
Well, that's definitely true. Even if Rin brought Emiya here, it's still true that Rin wouldn't have come here if not for Emiya. The priest walks towards the altar. Tosaka steps away from the altar with a bored expression and moves to stand next to me.
では始めよう。エミヤシロ。君はセイバーのマスターで間違いはないか？
Yes, sir.
それは違う。確かに俺はセイバーと契約した。けど、マスターとか聖杯戦争とか、そんなことを言われても俺には点でわからない。
Well, willing or unwilling, you are a master. I guess there is a choice coming, and we all know about that.
マスターっていうのがちゃんとした魔術師がなるものなら、他にマスターを選び直した方がいい。
Problem with that is there's not enough established mages really to make that work.
なるほど。これは重傷だ。彼は本当に何も知らないのか、リン。
Something about the way he says Rin, like, is so good.
だから素人だって言ったじゃない。そのあたりからしつけてあげて。そういう追い込み得意でしょ、あんた。
I love how it's like, I got bored of doing it, so I'm trying to pawn him off on you. Tosaka urges the priest unenthusiastically.
ほう。これはそういうことか。
Yeah, now he's like, now I understand why fucking Rin showed up here.
よかろう。お前が私を頼ったのはこれが初めてだ。
Damn.
エミやシローには感謝をしてもしたりない。
Now he's even more grateful to Emiya now that he understands the situation. It's so silly. Father Kotomine laughs. I get it, because he's a priest, but like, something about calling him father is crazy. I know there's at least some of you watching that would absolutely call Kirei daddy. Don't deny it. It's true. I get it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do get it. Like, I'd rather call Archer daddy, but I get it. I get it with Kirei. Their conversation is making me uneasy.
まず君の勘違いを正そう。いいか、エミやシロ。マスターというものは他人に譲れるものではないし、なってしまった以上やめられるものでもない。
Yeah, if only it was that easy.
その腕に霊樹を刻まれた者は、たとえ何者であろうとマスターをやめることはできん。
Well,
ま
kind
ずは
of.
その事実を受け入れろ。
They can chop your arm off, though.
やめることはできないって。どうしてだよ。
霊樹とは聖魂でもある。マスターとは与えられた試練だ。都合が悪いからといって放棄することはできん。
Sure.
その痛みからは聖杯を手に入れるまでは解放されない。
I mean, there are very biblical connotations, which, of course, is fitting given we're talking about the Holy Grail and we are literally in a church.
お前がマスターを辞めたいというのであれば、聖杯を手に入れ、斧が望みを叶えるより他はあるまい。そうなれば、何もかもが元通りだぞ、エミヤシロ。
In theory, that is one way to go about it, but obviously coming from Kirei, of course, this is how Kirei would frame it.
お前の望み。そのうちに溜まった泥をすべてかき出すこともできる。そうだ。初めからやり直すこととて可能だろうよ。
Oh, the way he said that's right was But it's interesting, right? Because like now I'm looking at this like early game dialogue a little differently because I have a lot of context I obviously didn't have when I played the Fate route, and it's really interesting how like this comment, like your every desire, even the cleansing of your soul from the filth of this world is possible. Like, that's right, one could start everything over from the beginning. It's crazy how hard he's trying to manipulate Shiro even this early on.
故に望むがいい。
And then bro does his fucking handout pose.
もしその時が来るのなら、君はマスターに選ばれた幸運に感謝するのだからな。その目に見えぬ火傷の跡を消したいのならば、聖魂を受け入れるだけでいい。
And then again, like, you'll be thankful for the lucky you made that made you a master. If you want to erase the unseen that has scorched your heart, all you have to do is accept the holy mark. It's crazy because bro even used the term scorched. Like, it's crazy, like, how much bro is manipulating, and like, it's one of those things where it's the way Kirei talks, so it's like he talks like fairly dramatically. So like, and that's something that's pretty obvious from the second you meet him at the beginning of this scene. So it's like, I feel like when you see all of this, it's like, it doesn't come across as like unnatural that he's saying things the way he's saying them, but obviously with the context of having played through the first route, this dialogue is kind of wild. Like, the fact that bro used scorched is a little crazy. I feel dizzy. The priest's words don't make any sense. The more I hear, the more I get confused. Yeah, because he's directing those specifically at you. Yep. But still, his words seem to soak into my chest and clot like blood.
キレ、回りくどい真似はしないで。私は彼にルールを説明してあげてって言ったのよ。
That is what
誰
he's
も傷を開けなん
doing.
て言ってない。
But, like, it's very on the nose for Emiya. A voice interrupts the priest's words.
Tosaka.
That clears my head. Good to see Tosaka kind of, I don't know if standing up for Emi is the right way to put it, but like, you know, interjecting herself when Kirei starts doing Kirei things.
そうか。こういった手合いには何を言っても無駄だからな。せめて勘違いしたまま道徳を拭い去ってやろうと思ったのだが。
That's crazy. Bro is wild.
情けは人のためならずとはよく言ったものだ。
At least he
つい
admits it.
私自身も楽しんでしまったか。
何よ、彼を助けるといいことあるっていうの？あんたに。
That's kind of the thing about Kirei. Like, in a way, yes, but it's kind of because Kirei's not, like, that concerned with how things turn up. He just wants to kind of instigate.
あるとも。人を助けるということはいずれ自身を救うということだからな。と、今さらお前に説いても始まるまい。
Bro literally hit Rin with the, I know you're an atheist, you're a lost cause at this point.
では本題に戻ろうか。エミやシロ。君が巻き込まれたこの戦いは聖杯戦争と呼ばれるものだ。
And now actually getting into the proper explanation here.
7人のマスターが7人のサーバントを用いて繰り広げる争奪戦。ということぐらいはリンから聞いているか。
That's one of the few things he actually has learned, yes.
聞いてる。7人のマスターで殺し合うっていうふざけた話だろ。
It is as ridiculous as it is real.
そうだ。だが我らとて好きでこのような非道を行っているわけではない。すべてが聖杯を得るにふさわしいものを選抜するための儀式だ。
That is the idea in theory.
何しろ物が物だからな。所有者の選定にはいくつかの試練が必要だ。
Trials my ass. If I squint, I might be able to see it like that, but for sure this priest doesn't think of it as a trial.
待てよ。さっきから聖杯聖杯って繰り返してるけど、それって一体何なんだ？まさか本当にあの聖杯だって言うんじゃないだろうな。
I mean, I already went into this, but yes and no. More so no than yes, but again, in a way, like almost philosophically yes, but no in actuality. The Holy Grail, a chalice that is said to have received the blood of Christ. It's considered to be one of the most sacred of relics and is said to be capable of many miracles. The most well-known legend is that the one who obtains the Holy Grail will obtain the world. That's just a myth. It's something that exists mostly in theory or belief, but not in actual practice. It is true that an object called the Holy Grail, which makes wishes come true, appears in legends and folklore all over the world. That's the extent of it. Even if it did exist, the Holy Grail is an imaginary power impossible to replicate.
どうなんだ、琴峰綺麗。あんたの言う聖杯は本当に聖杯なのか？
もちろんだとも。この町に現れる聖杯は本物だ。その証拠の一つとしてサーバントなどという法外な奇跡が起きているだろう。
See, that's the thing, right? Like, Kirei's not lying. The miracles that the Holy Grail produces are proof of its genuine nature. But obviously that doesn't... But obviously, again, that gets into the whole idea of what, again, like, what do you, you know, that gets into that whole, like, debate, right? And that's why the answer is yes and no.
過去の英霊を呼び出し刺激する。いいな。すでに死者の蘇生に近いこの奇跡は魔法と言える。これだけの力を持つ聖杯ならば、持ち主に無限の力を与えよう。物の心眼など、その事実の前には無価値だ。
Yeah, sure. That's essentially the idea. In other words, he means that even if it's a fake, the authenticity of it would not be questioned if it has more power than the real. Exactly. Like, it becomes... It's such a irrelevant question at the sight of what the Holy Grail can do. Like, it literally doesn't... Like, yeah, it's just a waste of time to even think about its genuine nature as in being the Holy Grail of myth, because its power represents such myth.
いいぜ。仮に聖杯があるとする。けど、ならなんだって聖杯戦争なんてものをさせるんだ。聖杯があるんなら殺し合うことなんてない。それだけすごいものならみんなで分ければいいだろう。
If only it was that easy.
もっともな意見だが、そんな自由は我々にはない。聖杯を手にする者はただ一人。それは私たちが決めたのではなく、聖杯自体が決めたことだ。
Like you said, it's a chalice. It's a cup. It's a grail, right? Like, it wants to be won in a tournament. It is really funny though that, like, you know, obviously, like, the easiest way to describe it is that this is a death game, but an alternate way of looking at it is that Fate Stay Night is a tournament arc. But just the whole thing is a tournament arc.
7人のサーバントを呼び出すのも、すべては聖杯自体が行うこと。
Sure.
これは儀式だと言っただろう。聖杯は自らを持つにふさわしい人間を選び、彼らを競わせて、ただ一人の持ち主を選定する。それが聖杯戦争。聖杯に選ばれ、手に入れるために殺し合う恒例儀式というわけだ。
Evocation's a great word, too. The priest says it all matter-of-factly. I find myself without an argument as I look down at my left hand. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, based on what you've already seen, it's hard to really dispute any of what Kirei is saying. There is the mark that they call the command spell. The priest is trying to say that as long as I have this mark, I can't quit being a master.
納得いかないな。一人だけしか選ばれないにしたって、他のマスターを殺すしかないっていうのは気に食わない。
I mean, in theory, as we've seen in just from the Fate route, there are other ways to make a master retire, but still.
ちょっと待って。殺すしかないっていうのは誤解よ、ヘミヤ君。別にマスターを殺す必要はないんだから。
Osaka taps on my shoulder and blows the argument wide open again.
はあ？だって殺し合いだって言ったじゃないか。琴峰もそう言ってたぞ。
殺し合いだ。
It's so matter of fact. God, I love him. He's so good. Oh my god.
キレイは黙ってて。あのね、この町に伝わる聖杯っていうのは霊体なの。だから物としてあるわけじゃなくて、特別な儀式で呼び出す。つまり降霊するしかないってわけ。
Trust me, girl, the specifics are wild. Again, Fate route. It's so interesting. Like I said, it's so interesting going in knowing all the things we know.
で、呼び出すことは私たち魔術師だけでもできるんだけど、これが霊体である以上、私たちには触れられない。この意味。
わかる。
Oops.
霊体には霊体しか触れられないんだろ。ああ、だからサーバントが必要なのか。
There you go.
そういうこと。ぶっちゃけた話、聖杯戦争っていうのは自分のサーバント以外のサーバントを撤去させるってことよ。だからマスターを殺さなければならないという決まりはないの。
Man, she could have told me that sooner. Jeez, Tasaka and this priest sure love torturing people. They do have that in common, you know. Rin and I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like Rin and Kirei do share a lot of traits, but like The difference is that Tosaka's a good person and Kirei's a bad person. Like, they do mirror each other in some ways, but obviously, like, Rin's just good. That's literally the biggest difference between them. Anyways, that's a relief. So even if I participate in the Holy Grail War, Tosaka's not going to die. Well, she still might, and regardless of your participation in the Holy Grail War, and if you don't participate, she's actually more likely to die. But yeah.
なるほど。そういう考えもできるか。ではエミヤシロ、一つ尋ねるが、君は自分のサーバントを倒せると思うか？
Definitely not. Defeat Saber? That's impossible. Magecraft doesn't work on her, and she's an incredibly powerful swordswoman. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, magic literally is just fucking useless against Saber. It's actually stupid how fucking... Like, it's weird because obviously we see her for various reasons in fights that are very, tough for her to win in the Fate route. But it is crazy when you think about it. Like, she's fucking OP. And, like, I feel like they really emphasize that with the whole Ryder thing, where, like... You know, Saber kind of, to be honest, like, not to say that Ryder wasn't sick, but, like, Saber did kind of fucking cook Ryder. And it'll be interesting to see, like I said, what they do with Ryder in this arc and in Heavensfield, because Ryder definitely had a part to play, like Ryder and Shinji, but it definitely... There's definitely a lot of meat on the bone with that storyline, for sure, with both of them. I mean, there's still so much, I mean, literally so much we don't know about Ryder.
ではもう一つ尋ねよう。つまらぬ問いだが、君は自分がサーバントより優れていると思えるか？
It's interesting because this is not the same question. This is a different question, and a question that... Nani? What is this guy saying? I can't defeat Saber, so there's no way that I could be superior to her. Those are not the same thing. The choice of words is very key here, Shiro, and it's something that you should recognize, especially when talking to clearly a very educated and manipulating man like Kirei. No matter how you phrase it, the answer is still that I'm weaker than my servant.
そういうことだ。サーバントはサーバントをもってしても破りがたい。ならばどうするか。そら、実に単純な話だろう。サーバントはマスターがいなければ存在できぬ。いかにサーバントが強力であろうと、マスターが潰されれば、そのサーバントも消滅する。
Yeah, in theory, assuming you're willing to go that far, defeating the Master is by far the easiest way to win a battle in the Holy Grail War. Yeah, it's a natural solution, exactly. You wouldn't pick the hard route. Ha 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 ha. In order to win, the most effective way to kill the servant would be to kill the master, not the servant.
サーバントを消すためにはマスターを倒した方が早いってのは分かった。
I mean, it's less about it being faster, it's just about it being easier.
けど、それじゃ逆にサーバントが先にやられたらマスターはマスターでなくなるのか。聖杯に触れられるのはサーバントだけなんだろう。なら、サーバントを失ったマスターには価値がない。
To be fair, this is a very valid question from Shiro.
いや、霊樹がある限りマスターの権利は残る。マスターとはサーバントと契約できる魔術師のことだ。霊樹があるうちはいくらでもサーバントと契約できる。
Yeah, and servant switching is kind of one of the interesting things that can also come into play and really mix things up here.
マスターを失ったサーバントはすぐに消えるわけではない。彼らは体内の魔力が尽きるまでは現世にとどまれる。そういったマスターを失ったサーバントがいれば、サーバントを失ったマスターとて再契約が可能となる。
It's definitely an interesting
戦線復帰が
idea.
できるというわけだ。だからこそ、マスターはマスターを殺すのだ。 下手に生かしておけば新たな障害になる可能性があるからな。
True.
じゃあレイジを使い切ったら、そうすれば他のサーバントと契約できないし、自由になったサーバントも他のマスターとくっつくだろ
待って、それは。
それはその通りだ。レイジさえ使い切ってしまえばマスターの責務からは解放されるな。もっとも強力な魔術を行えるレイジを無駄に使うなどという魔術師がいるとは思えないが、いたとしたらそいつは半人前どころかただのふぬけということだろう。
It's so interesting here, right? Like, this is another example of what I'm talking about with the Kirei manipulation tactics. He recognizes, not that he even necessarily thinks that Shiro's actually considering it, but it's more so like he recognizes that there's a possibility that Shiro's considering that, and already wants to try and belittle anyone who would do such a thing, to try and, you know, again, manipulate Shiro, kind of guide him down, make sure that he doesn't go down that path. The priest laughs as if he can see right through me, because he can. He's getting on my nerves, as he should. That priest is making fun of me. He clearly wants to get a rise out of me. That's kind of what Kirei does.
納得がいったか。ならばルールの説明はここまでだ。
Yeah, you've given a pretty good summary of what's going on here, Kirei.
さて、それでは初めに戻ろう、エミヤシロ。
Yes, to the beginning, to the crazy music in the background.
君はマスターになったつもりはないと言ったが、それは今でも同じなのか。
About to ask us?
マスターを放棄するというのならそれもよかろう。君が今考えた通り、レイジを使い切ってセーバーとの契約を立てばよい。その場合、聖杯戦争が終わるまで君の安全は私が保証する。
ちょっと待った。なんだってあんたに安全を保証されなくちゃいけないんだ。自分の身ぐらい自分で守る。
No, you can't.
私とてお前に構うほど暇ではない。だがこれも決まりでな。私は繰り返される聖杯戦争を監督するために派遣された。故に聖杯戦争による犠牲は最小限にとどめなくてはならないのだ。マスターで亡くなった魔術師を保護するのは監督役として最優先事項なのだよ。
If nothing else, that's very sensible, though, in, like, conceptually in the idea of the Holy Grail War.
繰り返される聖杯戦争。
Yeah, it's not the first time. Hold on, that means this has happened more than once?
それどういうことだよ。聖杯戦争っていうのは今に始まったことじゃないのか。
Well, it's like, yeah, it did, but it's just not the first one.
無論だ。でなければ監督役などというものが派遣されると思うか。
Yeah, it's not like this is just this prophesized thing that's been prophesized for centuries and it's just happening for the first time now.
この教会は聖遺物を回収する任を帯びる特務局の末端でな。本来は聖十字の調査回収を旨とするが、ここでは聖杯の査定の任を帯びている。
Yep.
極東の地に観測された第726聖杯を調査し、これが正しいものであるのなら回収し、そうでなければ否定しろとな。
There you go.
726って聖杯ってのはそんなにたくさんあるのか。
さあ、少なくともらしきものならばそれだけの数があったということだろう。そしてその中の一つがこの町で観測される聖杯であり、聖杯戦争だ。記録では200年ほど前が一度目の戦いになっている。以後約50年周期でマスターたちの戦いは繰り返されている。聖杯戦争はこれで5度目。 前回が10年前であるから今までで最短のサイクルということになるが。
正気かお前ら。こんなことを今まで4度も続けてきたって。
Yes.
まったく同感だ。お前の言う通り連中はこんなことを何度も繰り返してきたのだよ。
True. It's interesting too, because obviously, due to special factors relating to the previous Holy Grail War, that's a big reason why we're here again so soon. Obviously, I have some of the context, but man, dude. I can't wait. Dude, Fate Zero is gonna go crazy one day.
そう。過去繰り返された聖杯戦争はことごとく苛烈を極めてきた。マスターたちは斧が欲望に突き動かされ、魔術師としての教えを忘れ、ただ無差別に殺し合いを行った。
That's a wild way to describe murder.
君も知っていると思うが、魔術師にとって魔術を一般社会で使用することは第一の罪悪だ。魔術師は斧だが、過去のマスターたちはそれを破った。
Makes sense given what was on the line.
魔術協会は彼らを戒めるために監督役を派遣したが、それが間に合ったのは3度目の聖杯戦争でな。その時に派遣されたのが私の父というわけだが。
God damn it, I did it again.
監督役が必要な理由は分かった。
Sure.
けど今の話からするとこの聖杯戦争っていうのはとんでもなくタチが悪いものなんじゃないのか。
I mean, it's certainly one way to look at them.
ほう。たちが悪いとは。
But that's certainly not the way that Kirei looks at the world. He looks at everything in shades of gray.
だって以前のマスターたちは魔術師のルールを破るような奴らだったんだろ。なら仮に聖杯があるとして最後まで勝ち残った奴が聖杯を私利私欲で使うような奴だったらどうする。平気で人を殺すような奴にそんなものが渡ったらまずいだろう。魔術師を監視するのが教会の仕事ならあんたはそういう奴を罰するべきじゃないのか。
I ask with a glimmer of hope. It's a faint glimmer, and he's gonna extinguish that real quick. However, as expected, Kotomine Kirei laughs. Kirei Kotomine. I mean, like, that is proper, but that is the Western version, but it's weird. It's always weird with Japanese, like, with anime and with, like, all these different things of, like, which way to say their full names. Because, like, they say it as Kotomine Kirei, but we say it as Kirei Kotomine, so I don't really know. Like, I guess Kirei, like, I guess in, like, wrestling, like, I would say it as Kirei Kotomine with, like, Japanese wrestlers and stuff. But obviously, when they're announced, it would be the other way around. So, it is weird. I will say, like, it's always weird to decide which way to say it. And honestly, I feel like it's pretty interchangeable, the order. Like, just do whatever you're feeling like in that moment. But it's interesting to talk about. Because obviously in Japanese, you would say Kotomine Kirei, but in English, you would say Kirei Kotomine, so it's weird.
まさか、私利私欲で動かぬ魔術師などおるまい。我々が管理するのは聖杯戦争の決まりだけだ。その後のことなど知らん。どのような人格が聖杯を手に入れようが、教会は関与しない。
そんなバカな。じゃあ聖杯を手に入れたマスターが最悪なやつだったらどうするんだよ。
So be it.
困るな。だが、私たちではどうしようもない。持ち主を選ぶのは聖杯だ。そして聖杯に選ばれたマスターを止める力など、私たちにはない。
I feel like this attitude is so, like, antithesis to everything that Shiro believes.
何しろ望みを叶える杯だ。手に入れたものはやりたい放題だろうさ。しかし、それが嫌だというのなら、お前が勝ち残ればいい。 他人を当てにするよりはその方が何よりも確実だろう。
And of course, he snakes it right back around to trying to motivate Shiro to play the game. Kotomine is trying to hold back his laughter. He seems to enjoy how I'm not able to accept being master.
どうした少年。今のはいいアイデアだと思うのだが、参考にする気はないのかな。
Well, he doesn't like the idea of being a cog in the wheel of this grand design, even though he's kind of been forced into that role.
そんなの余計なお世話だ。第一、俺には戦う理由がない。聖杯なんてものに興味はないし、マスターなんて言われても実感が湧かない。
ほう。では聖杯を手に入れた人間が何をするか、それによって最悪が起きたとしても。
Crazy.
それは。
I don't have anything to say. Yeah, it's crazy. He's trying to use his moral, trying to use the moral high ground that Shiro tries to stand on against him. Damn it! Everything this guy says is like a beatdown. Oh yeah, it's just literal poisons just dripping out of his mouth. He just delivers blow after blow of the harsh truth and doesn't let up at all.
理由がないのならそれも結構。ならば、10年前の出来事にも、お前は関心を持たないのだな。
Yep, and this is where Bro hits him with the uppercut.
10年前。
Yep.
そうだ。前回の聖杯戦争の最後にな。ふさわしくないマスターが聖杯に触れた。そのマスターが何を望んでいたかは知らん。我々にわかるのは、その時に残された災害の爪痕だけだ。
Yep. Here it comes. Yep. Our first look at this silly fucking shot. For one moment, that hell appeared in the back of my mind.
待ってくれ。まさか、それは。
Oh yeah, of course.
そうだ。この町に住む者なら誰もが知っている出来事だよ。エミヤシロ。
エミヤシロ。
死傷者500名。焼け落ちた建物は実に134棟。未だもって原因不明とされるあの火災こそが聖杯戦争による爪痕だ。
Yep. I feel nauseous. My vision blurs. I can't focus anymore. It feels like I'm going to pass out. I force myself to stand firm before I completely lose control. My teeth clench as I stave off oblivion. Anger boils over within me, and I use that to fight against the rising nausea.
エミヤ君、どうしたのよ。いきなり顔面真っ白にしちゃって。そりゃあんまり気持ちのいい話じゃなかったけど、ほら、なんなら少し休んだりする？
No, I'm doing totally fine, Ren. I just found out that, like, the most important day of my life that literally changed everything was kind of caused by this stupid game that I'm about to be forced to take part in. I must have looked awfully pale. Though, this must really be something else for Tosaka to be that worried about me.
心配無用だ。遠坂の変な顔を見たら治った。
Damn, bro's trying hard, too. Wow!
ちょっと、それどういう意味よ？
Dude, speaking of great says, oh my god.
いや、タイはないんだ。言葉通りの意味だから気にするな。
ならいいけど、余計に悪いじゃない、このド変僕。
Lunkhead? I mean, context clues, like, obviously I could figure that out, but I've literally never heard of that in my life. Damn! And with that, the supposed #1 model student, Tosaka Rin, smacks me upside the head, which is just enough. The nausea and anger from earlier disappear altogether.
サンキュー。本当に助かったから、あんまりいじめないでくれ、遠坂。今はもう少し聞かなくちゃいけないことがある。
Damn, that's wild. Like, yeah, if you're gonna slap me anymore, wait just a minute. Tosaka looks like she isn't through with me, but acquiesces. That's great.
ほう。 まだ質問があるのか。いいぞ。言いたいことは全て言ってしまえ。
Makes sense. He had to know what I'm gonna say, but he seems to enjoy needling me to say it aloud. Bring it on. I'm not gonna back
じ
down.
ゃあ聞く。あんた、聖杯戦争は今回が5回目だって言ったな。なら、今まで聖杯を手に入れたやつはいるのか？
It really is a great question.
当然だろう。そう毎回全滅などという決めは起きん。
Sure.
じゃあ、
早まるな。手に入れるだけならば簡単だ。何しろ聖杯自体はこの教会で管理している。手に取るだけならば私は毎日触れているぞ。
The Holy Grail is in this church?
もっともそれは器だけだ。中身が空なのだよ。先ほどリンが言っただろう。聖杯とは霊体だと。この教会に保管してあるのは極めて精巧に作られた聖杯のレプリカだ。これを触媒にして本物の聖杯を降霊させ、願いを叶える杯にする。そうだな。マスターとサーバントの関係に近いか。なあ、そうやって一時的に本物となった聖杯を手にした男は確かにいた。
Yep.
じゃあ、聖杯は本物だったのか？あ、いや、手にしたっていうそいつは一体どうなったんだ？
Yeah, I wonder.
どうにもならん。その聖杯は完成には至らなかった。
Hmm.
バカな男がつまらぬ干渉に流された結果だよ。
One man's foolishness indeed. And look at how Kiryu's like, look kind of depressed thinking about it too. I don't know where his high and mighty attitude went. Suddenly he casts his eyes down and looks regretful. Yep.
どういうことだ？聖杯は現れたんじゃないのか？
聖杯を表すだけならば簡単だ。7人のサーバントが揃い、時間が経てば聖杯は現れる。リンの言う通り、確かに他のマスターを殺める必要などないのだ。だがそれでは聖杯は完成しない。あれは自らを得るにふさわしい持ち主を選ぶ。故に、戦いを回避した男には聖杯など手に入らなかった。
Hmm.
要するに他のマスターと決着をつけずに聖杯を手に入れても無意味ってことでしょ？
That's the idea.
前回一番初めに聖杯を手に入れたマスターはアマちゃんだったのよ。敵のマスターとは戦いたくないなんて言って聖杯から逃げたんだから。
Yosaka spits out, looking away from Kotomine.
嘘。
So does that mean that Kotomine was one of the masters in the last war, and he obtained the Holy Grail but refused to fight and retired?
琴峰。あんた、戦わなかったのか？
途中まで戦いはした。だが判断を間違えた。結果として私は空の聖杯を手にしただけだ。
I'm not gonna lie, I could be wrong, but I don't remember this. Did we really? I'm wondering if this is new information because I don't know. I don't remember this context so like, yeah, this is.
もっとも私ではそれが限界だったろう。何しろ他のマスターたちは。
See, that sounds familiar. Yeah, no, maybe this was in it before.
そのまま父に保護されたよ。思えば監督役の息子がマスターに選ばれるなど、その時点であってはならぬことだったのだ。
Yeah, I think I remember him talking about that. So I think he probably did tell us all that.
父はその折に亡くなった。以後、私は監督役を引き継ぎ、この教会で聖杯を守っている。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was all there prior. Saying that, this priest named Kotomine Kirei turned away. Following his gaze leads to the symbol of worship towering over us.
話はここまでだ。
Hmm.
聖杯を手にする資格がある者はサーバントを従えたマスターのみ。
Sure.
君たちその戦い、聖杯戦争に参加するかの意思をここで決めよう。
Okay. Kreese requires my final decision as he looks down at me. I'm at a loss for words. Until this very moment, I had no reason to fight. But now I have a reason and the will to accompany it. Although, is this really what I want?
まだ迷っているのか。
Hmm.
いいか。マスターというものはなろうとしてなれるものではない。
Sure.
そこにいるリンは長く魔術師として修練してきたが、だからといってマスターになるのが決定されていたわけではないのだ。
Sure.
決定されていたものがあるとすれば、それは心構えができていたかいないかだけだろう。マスターに選ばれるのは魔術師だけだ。魔術師ならばとうに覚悟などできていよう。それがないというのならば仕方があるまい。
Sure.
お前もお前を育て
Damn!
出来損ないだ。
Damn!
そんな魔術師に戦われても迷惑だからな。今ここでレイジを消してしまえ。
That's a crazy comment. I'm trying... I don't know if he actually said that in the... Again, see, this is where I'm going crazy, and I'm trying to remember if all of this is exactly the same, and, like, most of it is. But there's moments where I'm like, did he really say that the first time around? It isn't even a question now. I refuse to run. To be honest, this Master and Holy Grail War stuff doesn't feel real at all. Even so, if I have to choose between fighting or running away, I would never run away. Priest even said it. If I'm a mage, I should be prepared. Are we not getting a choice? So I need to get it together. Even if I'm an amateur, I'm still a mage. He made the decision. We're not getting a choice, are we? If I decided that I'm going to champion justice and follow in Emiya Kiritsugu's footsteps after admiring him for so long.
マスターとして戦う。10年前の火事の原因が聖杯戦争だって言うなら、
Yo!
あんな出来事を2度も起こさせるわけにはいかない。
They didn't let us choose. That's crazy. I feel like that's got by far the biggest change so far. Oh, that's crazy. Because this scene was pretty much the same. But there might have been, yeah, a few lines in there a little different. Because, dude, Emiya just fucking decides on his own. That's crazy. The priest must have liked my answer as he is smiling with satisfaction. I threw away all my hesitation. I've got to man up and fight. I said I would do it, and so I'll face this on my pride as a mage.
それでは君をセーバーのマスターと認めよう。
Yep.
この瞬間に今回の聖杯戦争は受理された。
Based.
これよりマスターが残り一人になるまでこの町における魔術戦を許可する。各々が自身の誇りに従い存分に競い合え。
That's an interesting way to phrase it. The priest's words echo throughout the church. Although there's no real purpose to his declaration, only Tosaka and I heard his words. This man just carried out his own little ceremony, ringing the starting bell.
決まりね。それじゃあ帰るけど、私も一つぐらい質問していい？キレ。
構わんよ。これが最後かもしれんのだ。大抵の疑問には答えよ。
That's a crazy comment.
それじゃあ遠慮なく。キレ、あんた見届け役なんだから、他のマスターの情報ぐらいは知ってるんでしょ？こっちは教会のルールに従ってあげたんだから、それぐらい教えなさい。
Girls like, give me the insider info.
それは困ったな。教えてやりたいのは山々だが、私も詳しくは知らんのだ。
Damn.
エミやシローも含め、今回は正規の魔術師が少ない。私が知り得るマスターは2人だけだ。エミや
あ、そう。なら呼び出された順番ならわかるでしょ？ 仮にも監視役なんだから。
Yeah.
1番手はバーサーか。2番手はキャスターだな。あとはそう大差はない。先日にアーチャー、そして数時間前にセイバーが呼び出された。
Sure.
そう。それじゃあこれで。
正式に聖杯戦争が開始されたということだ。リン、聖杯戦争が終わるまではこの教会に足を運ぶことは許されない。
Fair enough.
許されるとしたらそれは
When you're retiring.
自分のサーバントを失って保護を願う場合のみでしょ。それ以外にあんたを頼ったら減点ってことね。
Of course, she relates it to a fucking grade.
そうだ。おそらく君が勝者になるだろうが、減点がついては教会が黙っていない。連中はつまらない論議の末、君から聖杯を奪い取るだろう。
Wow.
私としては
エセ神父、教会の人間が魔術協会の肩を持つのね。
Yes, I was talking about corrupt priest. Fake priest works too, though.
私は神に仕える身だ。教会に仕えているわけではない。
I mean, to be fair, that's actually a very important distinction, but it's still funny.
よく言うわ。だからエセなのよ、あんたは。
Yeah. Tosaka turns her back to Kotomine Kirei. With that, she makes her way towards the exit without saying goodbye.
おい、そんなんでいいのか、遠坂。あいつお前の兄弟子なんだろ。なら。
You sure you want to leave it like this without a proper farewell? Well,
いいわ
it's
よ、そんな
Kirei.
の。むしろ縁が切れてせいせいする
Got
だ
him.
もの。そんなことより、あなたも外に出なさい。
Yeah, we
もう
both
こ
gotta
の
get
教
out of
会に
here.
用はないから。
We're literally not allowed in here anymore. Tosaka crosses the chapel and, without stopping, really does leave without so much as a goodbye. I sigh and follow Tosaka, then... Oh. I feel the presence behind me and can't help but turn around. Oh my god. He crossed the distance before I knew it to loom over me.
なんだよ。まだなんかあるっていうのか。
At least your sixth sense is working. Though I can't help but take a step back. Just as I thought, I'm no good with this guy. It's like we're incompatible or on a different wavelength. I'm not fond of the feel. Yeah, they are very morally opposed.
話がないなら帰るからな。
I head towards the exit, trying to escape his stare. As I go...
喜べ少年。君の願いは
Yep,
ようやく叶う。
yep, yep. He hit him with this, yep. So the priest says, as if he's an oracle. Those words are they really what I've been feeling deep down?
何をいきなり。
分かっていたはずだ。明確な悪がいなければ君の望みは叶わない。
Yep!
たとえそれが君にとって容認し得ぬものであろうと。
Bro literally just sees right through him.
倒すべき悪が必要だ。
So good. My vision is about to go black. The priest says it. My wish is at the same time noble and shameful. The beautiful contradiction. Yes, the desire to protect something is inherently the same as wanting a threat to harm it. Yep.
お前。
But there's no way that I would wish something like that. I don't remember wishing anything like that. That just means my aspirations and ideals have a contradiction. Yep, there's my favorite word. It is funny because, like, this, again, this gets into, ideas like, it is the contradiction of such a belief in and of itself wishing for harm so you can protect from harm, right? And like that gets into the similar thing to like what I was talking about with the Holy Grail. It all and that gets into, like I said, if you notice, there's a pattern here of like the idea, the difference between the literal and the metaphorical, and if there really is even a point in making a distinction between the two, or in the end, does it really not matter? Is it really just the same thing? And that's something that's interesting to think about and talk about, and comes up multiple times in different avenues throughout Fate Stay Night, at least in the Fate route, and I assume will only continue to do so in the other routes. Good thing you have an enemy to face now. That's what the priest is saying. His words like a dagger to my gut.
何取り繕うことはない。君の葛藤は人間としてとても正しい。
Yeah. The priest smiles joyfully. I shake off his words and head towards the exit.
さらばだ、エミヤシロ。
Oh, farewell, Emiyashiro.
最後の忠告になるが、帰り道には気をつけたまえ。
Some berserker action?
これより君の世界は一変する。
Oh, yeah.
君は殺し、殺される側の人間になった。その身はすでにマスターなのだから。
That's crazy. Those words are a parting shot as I hastily make my way out. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, they hit me with the good music. Oh, baby. I want to see that Unlimited Blade Works. Yeah! There it is! Unlimited Blade Works. Yes, that's so cool. Yep, we know where shit's going. Oh, man. That's awesome. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for our first episode. I do want to, you know, obviously with Fate Stay Night, I generally try, you know, 3.5 hours is kind of often a good goal. This episode's going to be on the shorter side. It's our first episode back in. And like I said, it was pretty much just rehashing old stuff, but we didn't have a choice there in the church, which I know is different from the Fate route. So there are little things that they're sneaking in, and there were moments where I was unsure if the dialogue was new or not. Most of that was exactly the same, but there were definitely moments in there where I was less sure, which does make me wonder if they snuck anything in. But at the very least, Shiro made a decision for us. And it was like, nah, I'm not, yeah, no, I'm just doing it, right? There was no, like, bad end or anything to cook there. It was just straight up, the decision didn't exist, which is really interesting to me. That could be a thing where it's like, obviously this is the route that you're supposed to play second, so it's like, you already got, like you can get that bad end the first time, but like, in this pathway, it's like, it would literally be repetitive, so there's no point. I don't know, but either way, it's still interesting to see that there wasn't a decision there when there was a decision in the equivalent moment in the Fate route, so I think that's cool. Even if, like I said, for efficiency's sake, it makes sense, because if it's just going to be the exact same, like, result, then it's like, what's the point? But it's still kind of just interesting to me. Obviously, though, we pretty much are just rehashing material right now. I don't know when things are going to really start to diverge. But it's nice to be back, and it's fun, and I apologize for the beginning of the video being so kind of wonky, and obviously you guys saw I got into my groove and everything was, you know, back to normal by the end of that. Like, I was able to kind of make sense of what was going on, and everything was, we were vibing, and everything was, you know, everything was working out, right? Like, by the end, it was all chill, and we were in a good place with the episode. But I have to say, like, obviously, I was able to kind of expand upon and kind of recount some thoughts that I talked about, obviously, earlier in the Let's Play. And obviously, like I said, while I don't want to go and do the days that are completely, you know, pre-divergent branch point, you know, we're still kind of getting back into the swing of things, and having it where it's right now everything is the same, and like I said, I'm kind of just waiting for things to spiral in a different direction, is pretty interesting, and I think there's some fun stuff there. So I do think this is probably the best way to go about it. Obviously, I'm new to this though, because this is the first real experience of playing a visual novel on the channel that isn't linear, right? Like this, I mean, this is a visual novel that actually does have 3 distinct routes, and now that we're on the second route, it is a situation where at least as far as, like I said, the transitional period, because we are technically in Unlimited Blade Works now, but we are in a position where it's kind of like, right now it's still basically the same story. It hasn't really diverted. We haven't really had that divergence yet, so it's going to be, it's kind of, we're in that interesting point right now. But like I said, I'm just going to keep rolling, and next video will probably be longer as we kind of get fully back into Fate. But I'm so happy to be back with you guys. I'm so excited to start the new year off with, at the very least, this is my first rotational video back. I'm expecting this to go up on January 2nd. It might go up on January 3rd if, something pops up or whatever. But in all likelihood, the 2nd. But either way, it's going to be my first rotational video of 2025. We're back on Fate. We're back to finally begin Unlimited Blade Works, and I am so excited. And yeah, hopefully this is actually about Rin or Archer, or Rin and Archer eventually, or my thumbnail is gonna look really stupid. But hey, we gotta make shit work. So I'm so excited though. Like I said, Fate. You guys saw obviously my experience with the Fate route. I was very invested in this story, and especially like late game Fate, like really resonated with me, and I really hope to see the same thing for Unlimited Blade Works and for Heaven's Feel when we eventually get to that. But obviously Heaven's Feel is so far down the line even now. But I mean, just keeping it on UBW, I really do hope that Unlimited Blade Works can resonate with me in a similar way that Fate did, and it'll be interesting to see if I like Unlimited Blade Works more than Fate, about the same, or maybe less. But regardless, I definitely am expecting a great time, and I'm pretty confident that this story is going to deliver if the Fate route was any indication, especially because a lot of you, I think, genuinely do consider the Fate route your least favorite. Not to say that you don't like it, obviously, but I know there's a lot of you that really love Unlimited Blade Works. From my understanding, is probably the most beloved one, but I do know a lot of you really love Heaven's Feel as well, so it's going to be really interesting to see. Yeah, I'm just so excited, especially my girl Rin. I'm so excited to see her again. She very quickly rose up the ranks and becoming, just legitimately like one of my favorite characters, just in general. Like, I love her so much, and I expect that to only go up as we get deeper into Fate's Stay Night. So it's going to be a blast. But like I said, we don't really have much to talk about the episode, because it's essentially rehashing content from the Fate route. So I'm just going to leave it there. If you guys want to support the channel, Patreon's down below in the description. Obviously, it's the new year, so we're going to have a lot of different stuff popping up with both with the reactions, and obviously, in this case, with the Let's Play. But yeah, anyways, without any further ado, it's time for me to bid you adieu. Flamin' Shark signing out. Hope you have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.